Hey everybody, welcome to Always Bored Never Boring. Today we are playing Mission 1 from a 5-part campaign called Renegade, originally published in White Dwarf issue 145 way back in the day. If you watched my teaser trailer for this series, you will know I am sending a squad of 5 Terminators in search of Hermiotus, a scientist who has accidentally gone and got himself infected with some gene stealer plasm. Over the course of the campaign, we are going to find out where he is and we are going to capture him and return him for justice. He is far too dangerous to leave roaming around the galaxy. My Terminator squad comprises a commander with a Stormbolter and Power Sword, we have 3 Terminators with Stormbolters and Power Fists, and then we have 1 Terminator with a Heavy Flamer and Power Fist. We'll explain how all those weapons work once we are underway. The only other thing to note really is, because Terminators have better armor and better equipment than regular Marines, they get 4 less equipment cards, so I am starting this campaign with no equipment whatsoever. I do still get an order card. I have selected Fire. When I play that order card at the beginning of my turn, all of my Terminators will be able to fire twice as well as moving. You will notice around the board we have some little tokens. Most of these tokens represent debris which blocks movement and line of sight. I've made these tokens myself. I printed them out, mounted them on grey board, which was in turn mounted onto white card, and then I have sealed them with a satin finish Mod Podge. One of the tokens, which I have placed in the top left corner of the map, is a computer terminal. This is relevant for the primary mission, which we are about to read. Mission HT AF001, Sector Beta Magellan, obtain alien intelligence. You must obtain information regarding the whereabouts of Hermiotus. Space Marine squads are ordered to assault alien space station Torres and interface with the base computer. The primary mission token will be won by the player who successfully accesses the computer. So there we go, I have placed the terminal in the top left quadrant of the board. Only a commander is able to access the terminal and it takes 2 full turns, so my commander is a priority target for all of the aliens. Let's get things underway. We will explain additional rules as we go. Each of our lumbering Terminators can only move 4 spaces, but we are going to start by activating one of our regular Stormbolter Marines. He uses 2 movement points to get to the door. He can open that door as a free action. We have 2 movement points left, we're just going to move into the corridor. We are very exposed there, but Terminators have an armor class of 3, so they should be able to shrug off most attacks. And now, because that Terminator has finished moving and he has entered a new board section, we have to place blips. For this mission, we are using all of the blips from the core game. I have divided them completely randomly into 4 stacks and I have allocated 1 stack of blips to each quadrant of the board. That means I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to be facing here. Could be a dreadnought straight away. We are placing 8 blips and we're playing the good old-fashioned hide behind the door trick. We can now push forward with the rest of our Terminators, each of which is moving 4 spaces. And we will play a little cautiously at first until we know what we are facing. With that done, it's the alien player's first turn. We start by drawing an event card. And we have drawn auto defences. You may shoot at any one marine or commander miniature on a room square. Roll 1 heavy weapons die. Now, this might be scary for regular marines. For Terminators, it's not a problem. Our armor class of 3 means that we can instantly shrug off the damage from a single red dice. So we don't even need to roll, we're completely safe. Let's activate some blips, starting with the one closest to us. It opens the door. It's going to advance into the corridor, and because it's in line of sight to a Terminator, we reveal it. It is but a lowly Gretchen. Gretchens have a movement of 8, this one is going to back up along the corridor, and then it's going to shoot at the Terminator it can see. Gretchen roll 2 white dice to attack, and they need to roll 4 successes in order to kill a Terminator. That works out to something like 3% chance of success. But I have learned from previous playthroughs, never count out a Gretchen. It actually has enough movement to move all the way back there, and we roll our 2 white dice. 00. Our second blip advances to there, and that is an orc. In ranged combat, orcs roll 2 white dice, the same as Gretchen, and therefore have a very low chance of killing a Terminator. But they also roll 2 white dice in close combat, so this orc is going to live by the sword, or in this case, the big chopper. He's going in to attack in hand-to-hand combat. And in hand-to-hand combat, a Terminator's armor counts for nothing. We roll 2 white dice. And we have rolled 2 successes. That's a big hit. In retaliation, our Terminator rolls 1 red and 1 white dice. and rolls a 3. That's a 2 and a 1. In hand-to-hand combat, you deduct the lowest value from the highest value, and the difference is how many wounds the loser will take. In this case, the orc takes 1 wound, which is enough to kill it. First blood to the Terminators. Close call though. We remove our orc from the board, and because we have killed it, we score some points. 3 points to be exact. There are still many more blips to get through. Let's speed things up a bit. Next, the 2 blips in the lower left corner of the board. We open the door, we move into the corridor, and we reveal. It's another orc. Orcs only have a movement of 6, that is not enough to get into close combat with one of these Terminators, so instead it is going to back off to the end of the corridor and shoot. 2 white dice against the Terminator in the corridor. Just the 1. Our next blip moves out for 1, and it's yet another orc. That orc may as well stay where he is and shoot. 2 white dice. 2 hits, only halfway there. We open the next door. Once that blip moves to there, it can be seen and is revealed. And we have our first Chaos Marine. That Chaos Marine has a bolter which only rolls 2 white dice when shooting, so we are going to charge into hand-to-hand combat with the Terminator. It's high risk, but it is our best chance of killing a Terminator. We roll 2 white dice. And that is nothing. We retaliate with our Power Fist. A single hit is enough to kill the Marine. And we roll 2, so we do squash this Marine. We remove the Chaos Marine and we score more points. 5 this time. The next blip advances. To there and reveals. Just a Gretchen, but that's okay. I'm hoping for another one at least, so that I can form a screen to protect my orcs. So we'll stand there. And we ping this Terminator. 2 more blips to go. That's 2 movement points to there, and we reveal. And it's an android. That's a little bit scary. Androids are actually better in hand-to-hand combat than a Terminator with a Power Fist. However, they only have a movement of 4, and having used 2 spaces of movement already, this android cannot get into hand-to-hand combat. So it's just going to advance up as far as it can and shoot. When it shoots, it will roll 3 white dice. So we'll go to there. And from there we have line of sight to the Terminator in the top right corner of the room. So we're going to shoot at that one. And we roll triple zeros. With a roll like that, it doesn't matter if you're wearing Terminator armor or your underpants, you're going to survive. The final blip moves up, 5 movement points to there to reveal. And it is another Chaos Marine with a bolter. Having moved 5 spaces already, he only has 1 movement point remaining. Not enough to get into hand-to-hand combat with anything, and as he only has a bolter, for now we're going to duck back out of line of sight, hope we survive to the next round and see if we can do some damage then. So we duck in there, and that is the end of the alien player's turn, except for reinforcements. For this mission, we have access to all of the green Gretchen reinforcement tokens, and there are 2 entry points where we can bring them in each turn. We are allowed to bring in 2 reinforcements here, and 4 reinforcements here. Those are the only spots on the board where reinforcements can arrive, and I can only bring in a maximum of 6 per turn. But having done that, our alien player turn is finally over. The Terminators start their second turn, and I can immediately see that I have made a tactical blunder. I was hoping for at least 1 more Gretchen to stand in front of those orcs to protect them from the flamer. However, that has not happened. So there is now a very real chance that we are going to lose a lot of alien units in one fell swoop. Let's activate our flamer unit first. He's going to move to there, and as with the missile launcher, with the heavy flamer you don't have to target a miniature, you can target a space. So we are going to target the space directly in front of the orc ahead of us. That means both orcs and the Gretchen in front of them will be in the splash radius. We are rolling 2 red dice for this attack, and everything in the splash radius is hit for the total of those 2 red dice. And that's a 3. That means everything in the area is wiped out. A huge play for the Terminators. No wah for you today, boys. And 8 more points for the Terminators. We're going to advance up one of our Terminators with a Storm Bolter. That takes all 4 of our movement points to get to there, but we can now shoot at the android with our Storm Bolter. We roll 1 red and 1 white dice. The android has an armor class of 2. We've rolled double zeros, that is not going to cut it. But fear not, we have more Terminators. We'll advance that one into there, and he is also going to shoot at the android. And again, 2 zeros. Okay, I really need to put the beat down on this android. We're going to activate our Terminator commander, and he's going to move into a position where he can attack with his power sword, rolling 2 red dice. 4 hits, that's huge. The android also rolls 4 red dice. And rolls double zeros, so we have absolutely destroyed that android. That was really important. Androids are scary. They are also worth 10 points. We have one more Terminator left to advance. Unfortunately, because of the wall, he cannot get eyes on that Chaos Marine, so instead he's just going to shoot the Gretchen at the end of the corridor, which he kills with ease. Annoyingly, if he could have got line of sight on that Chaos Marine, a roll of 3 would have killed it. But one more dead Gretchen is never a bad thing. Neither is another 2 points. We start the alien phase by drawing an event card. And we have drawn Report In, play on one of the Marine players. The player may not move or attack with his commander miniature on his next turn, as he must report in. You know what he's doing? He's phoning up his mates. Hey guys, you'll never guess what, I absolutely just totaled an android. But while he's doing that, the aliens get to roam free. Let's start by activating our Chaos Marine, who is going to go around the corner and attack this Terminator in hand-to-hand combat. And remember, it's only 2 white dice, but that is still our best chance of killing one of these Terminators with a Marine. 1 success. Our Terminator retaliates and rolls 3 successes. We knew it was a risky play, we took the chance, it didn't work out. Our Marine is dead. Terminators are doing okay so far, and they bag another 5 points. Let's see what our Gretchen can do. This one advances. It's going to shoot at the Stormbolter, 2 white dice. Nope. His mate's going to move up and have a go as well. He goes to there and shoots. Nope. And then we have our Gretchen reinforcements over here, who are all going to move up into the corridor. 4 movement points to there to open the door, and then he's going to keep as much distance as possible between him and the big mean blue boys, and then he is going to shoot at the Stormbolter. 1 hit, it just pings off the shoulder pad. Next Gretchen, he's going there and he's going to do the same thing. Nope. The next one moves up, to there. Still nope. And the last one, just there. And that's a 2, still no. That is the end of the alien player's turn, so we can go straight into Terminator turn 3. Our objective is in the top left quadrant of the board. We don't really want to have to move through the boards where we're constantly going to be facing new reinforcements, so for that reason the Terminators will start heading north. Our commander is going to activate first. He's going to start by taking a pot shot at one of the Gretchen in that green room behind him. 2 hits, more than enough. We remove the Gretchen, and once again we score points. Another 2. And then our commander is going to move 4 spaces. I killed an android, boys, it's up to you now. Next up, our leading Stormbolter is going to try and kill the other Gretchen in the green room. But he misses, that's rubbish. Never mind, plod on, he's going to go and follow the boss. Our next Stormbolter will activate. Let's kill this Gretchen though, he's being a pain. And again we miss, that's ridiculous. Next up, our Heavy Flamer is going to activate. He's going to launch a flame all the way down the corridor, directly at that group of 2 Gretchens. And we roll 4, that's easily enough to kill both of those Gretchen. We remove them from the board, and we add another 4 points to the tally. But now we do want to move our Flamer. He's going up there out the way. We have 1 Stormbolter left to activate. He's going to take a pot shot at one of the Gretchen down the bottom of the corridor, and then he too is going to head north. And he's missed as well. I think these Terminators need to check their sights. Never mind, we're clearly saving all the big rolls for the big enemies. Let's move. And that is the end of that. That did not go as well as it could have done. Let's draw an alien event card. We have Master Controls. You may open or close as many doors on the board as you wish. This isn't really useful at the moment. Not much to activate this turn. We have the Gretchen in the green room. He's actually going to move out into the corridor and take a shot at the Heavy Flamer. Just from there. And we roll 2. The other Gretchen are going to head north. They have a computer terminal to protect. It is now the reinforcement phase. Obviously we don't want to put any Gretchen in the lower right quadrant because the Heavy Flamer will immediately nuke them, but we may as well put 4 more Gretchen in the lower left quadrant. And now it's time for the Marines to activate. Our commander is going to lead by example because he can actually reach the first door in the next quadrant and open it. So we move 3 spaces to the door, we open it, and then we are just going to back off 1 space against the wall. Having completed that action, we have to spawn some blips. and we will place them like that. That is 3 behind the door on the right, 3 behind the door dead ahead behind the pile of debris, there is 1 in the corner of the room in the top left, and 1 in the corridor. I hardly ever place blips in corridors, fancy the change. Next we're going to advance up a couple of storm bolters so they are standing just inside the door. Then our heavy flamer is going to put some extreme overkill on this Gretchen behind him. That's 2, that'll do it. We remove that pesky Gretchen from the board and score another 2 points. The flamer is then going to advance up behind the rest of the squad. And of course our last straggler is also going to advance. He's got a rear guard action going on there just in case any more Gretchen pop up in the reinforcement zone. It's time to draw another alien event. And we have the weapons jammed card. Play on one of the marine players. That player may not fire any heavy weapons on his next turn. Ouch. Well, that's my heavy flamer out of commission this turn. The aliens better capitalise on this. First things first, we'll advance these Gretchen in the bottom left corner as far as they can go. Like so. Next, I think we will open the door directly in front of our Terminator commander. That rubble in front of him blocks line of sight, so neither of these blips are revealed just yet. Let's rectify that by advancing with the first one. We advance to there and reveal. That is just a Gretchen. And that Gretchen is immediately going to hide because he doesn't have a lot of chance of doing any damage against the Terminator commander, and I'm pretty sure we're better off keeping him alive until a little bit later on. He's just going to go into that corner. Our next blip advances to the same spot, and it is just another Gretchen. He's going to go back to this door and open it, and then duck around the other side. Let's move our next blip. 2 to there and reveal, and again it's just a Gretchen. Don't forget, any one of these blips could be the Dreadnought, I don't know. Okay, and this Gretchen is going to run a little interference for us. He's whipping past the commander and he is going to shoot one of the storm bolters. He rolls a 2, that's not good enough. Let's move the blip that's in the corridor. 5 movement points to there to reveal, and it is an orc. And it may not be wise, but when has an orc ever been wise? The orc has seen a big blue chonky boy and he wants to fight him. We advance 1 more space. We roll 2 white dice. And we have rolled a 2, it's a good hit. Our commander retaliates with 2 red dice. And rolls 3! Easy come, easy go. And 3 more points for the Terminators. Finally, we're just going to reposition a couple of blips that are on this board without revealing them. Those 2 blips are just going to go there. Oh, and we must not forget our 2 Gretchen up at the top. They are going to advance. They're both hiding just behind the door. And I do not think it would be wise to bring on any reinforcements this turn, so we won't. And now it is time for the Terminators to activate. To start with, our commander is going to shoot at the Gretchen he can see, absolutely pulverising it with a score of 5. Another easy 2 points. And our commander knows no fear. He's going to advance. None of our other Terminators are going to be able to get line of sight on anything, so they are all going to push forward and position themselves tactically. Like so. And that completes the Terminator's turn. We can now discard our weapons jammed card. Next turn, our heavy flamer will be back in operation. At the start of the alien player's turn, the Terminators appear to be in a strong position. Let's see what happens when we draw an event card. Auto defense systems. You may shoot at any one marine or commander miniature on a corridor square. Roll 1 heavy weapons die. As before, we know we cannot kill a Terminator with 1 red dice, so that does nothing. First of all, we will activate the blips in the lower right corner of the board. We're going to open that door leading out onto the corridor. And then if we advance 1 space out, we should become visible. What have we got this time? It is an orc. We've moved 1 space, we have 5 spaces remaining. And that is bad news bears for our heavy flamer, because that does mean the orc is in range. We squeeze in there and attack with 2 white dice. Rolling double zeros, the heavy flamer retaliates with 1 red and 1 white. Also scoring nothing, it's a standoff. Let's try and put some more hurt on that flamethrower. We move our next blip, 3 spaces to there to become visible, and it's just a Gretchen. Having moved 3 spaces already, he does not have enough movement to get eyes on the heavy flamer, so instead we will just move into the corner and take a shot at the storm bolter. Let's see your quality, Gretchen. That's not it. Our next blip is going to move into the corridor. That's 4 movement to there. It's another orc. With only 2 movement points remaining, that orc does not have enough movement to get into hand-to-hand combat, so it will advance as far as it can and then it will shoot. Just the 2 white dice. And again, double zeros. Next we have a couple of Gretchen to activate. Let's activate the one in the top right. 8 movement points gets him right into the corner where he can thread the eye of the needle and take a shot at the heavy flamer. 2 hits, not bad, not good enough. Our next Gretchen can also get eyes on the heavy flamer. 6 movement points to there, and we shoot. 2 again, they're getting closer. We have more Gretchen to come in from the north. Let's see if we can swarm these Terminators. 6 movement points is enough to get one of them right into the corner of the corridor. From there he will shoot at one of the Storm Bolters. Just 1. And our next Gretchen, 6 movement points to join his friend. And he rolls 2 as well. The Terminators are getting swarmed, but that Terminator armour is really paying off. We have another blip to move though. 2 movement points to there, and it does come into line of sight of the commander. And it's an android. Androids have a movement of 4, and as it has already moved 2 spaces, it does not have enough movement left to get into hand-to-hand combat with that commander. It could stay where it is and shoot at the commander, but only rolling 3 white dice, there is no way it could kill that commander in a single round of shooting, and it would then be very much exposed to a lot of return fire. I think the best thing to do for now is to duck around behind the corner and wait till later. Just to there. We have 4 more Gretchen in the top left quadrant. They are going to advance as far as they can. That completes all of our activations, so we move on to the reinforcement phase. We have only 4 reinforcement tokens left. They are all Gretchen, of course. We are going to place 2 there, and our last 2 in the top left entry point. That completes the alien phase. It is time for fiery retribution. As we begin this new Terminator turn, it is worth taking a moment to remind ourselves of what our objective is. We need to get to the computer terminal, which you can just see in the top right of the screen. The quickest way to get to that terminal is through the room with the android. But of course, our sneaky clever android has positioned itself out of line of sight, and in such a position that it can scurry out next turn and jab anybody who gets too close. But that is a risk we are going to have to take. So we're going to start the turn by activating our commander. He is going to advance towards the android, 4 spaces to there, and then we shoot. Rolling 2 successes, we easily kill the Gretchen. But there are still plenty more, which is great because that means more points for us. Next up, we're going to activate the Terminator adjacent to that orc. He's going to move into the corner, just there, and he is going to shoot that orc in the back. Rolling 2 successes, that is a kill. Another green skin joins the big wah in the sky, and we get 3 more points. Okay, next up, our heavy flamer is going to activate. We're just going to move 1 space to there, and we are going to aim our heavy flamer at the space between the Gretchen and the orc. No. Okay, that orc is a big problem for me, so we are going to send another Terminator to deal with him. He's playing Operation Protect the Flamethrower. He is going to shoot the orc at point blank range. And he only rolls 1 success. That's not going to do it either. We have 1 regular Storm Bolter left. He too is going to help out the heavy flamer. We shoot the orc. We hope for the best. 2 hits, that is a kill. Finally, we take down that last orc. That is a relief, but we have been pulled very much out of position now. Our commander is alone. 3 points though, innit? I'm thinking maybe I should have used my fire order that turn in order to make sure we cleared all this stuff out. Never mind, it's time for the aliens to activate. We draw an event card. Mech Assault. All the androids and the Dreadnought may move up to twice their normal move this turn as well as attack. Well, that's alright, the android wasn't going to move far anyway. However, I do think we will deal with that duel last. Let's activate some Gretchen first. We have 2 Gretchen in the top corner of this quadrant. They are both going to shoot at the Storm Bolter directly in front of them. First one rolls a 2, that's a miss. And the second one rolls a 2, it's still a miss. The second one that fired though is going to move, just to spread out a bit. Next we will face that lone Gretchen facing an entire army of Terminators. He's going to shoot at the closest Storm Bolter. And he misses, so he might as well run away. Just to there for now. We have 1 more Gretchen in the central room. He is actually going to sneak up behind the commander and take a little shot at him. Why not? He moves to there, 2 white dice. And he misses. I can't imagine the commander took that well though. Okay, we have a horde of Gretchen to activate. Here they come. This one comes in, stands in that corner and shoots at the Stormbolter. And gets a big fat nothing. Next one moves in, he can only see that one Stormbolter, so that's who he shoots at. And it's a 0-0. Next Gretchen. He moves in there and he also takes a shot. And it's a 2. Not good enough. Our last Gretchen from that section is going to move just to there. He's going to take up sentry duty. Meanwhile, over here we have 2 more little Gretchen, both of which will be able to get line of sight on the heavy flamer. He moves to there and shoots. And it's 2 hits. And then our next Gretchen activates. He shoots from there. Just 1. We do have a couple of Gretchen up in the top left quadrant. Those are just going to run as fast as they can to try and get involved in the action. There they are, just up there in the top left. And now we activate our android. It's going to go for it, hand-to-hand combat. It comes around the corner, the true Terminator in this game, and rolls 2 red dice. Rolling 0-0s, that is bad news for the alien player. Let's see what the commander can do. He rolls 0-0 as well. It is an epic clash. It is a standoff. It is a new Terminator turn. There is a lot of stuff on the board, a lot of things we want to clear out, but at the same time, I still don't think it's worth using our fire command. Just because we haven't met a Dreadnought yet, there are still 2 androids in the blip stack, there is also a Chaos Commander somewhere and a missile launcher. So let's start by activating our commander. He's going to keep the mission in mind. He moves to there, and remember, our commander with a Stormbolter rolls 2 red dice rather than a red and a white, so we do have a good chance here. Oh, that's not just a good shot against an android, that would have been a good shot against a Dreadnought. That android is absolutely decimated. The little robotic guard dog is destroyed, and we get 10 points. Okay, let's try and regroup. Terminator in the bottom left activates. He moves to there, shoots the Gretchen directly in front of him. And rolls nothing. These Terminators may be deflecting a lot of damage, but they are not killing enough things. Okay, let's activate another Stormbolter. He moves to there and he is going to shoot the Gretchen in the doorway behind him. 3, that's more like it. Another dead Gretchen. And another 2 points. Okay, our Flamer has eyes on the Gretchen in the corridor behind him. If he drops a Flamer shot on the space between them, he could potentially kill them both. And he does, he rolls a big 5. 4 more points. And having done that, he's going to move out of harm's way. We have 1 Stormbolter left to activate. He moves to there and he is going to shoot that Gretchen in the corridor. Easily killing it with a roll of a 4. 2 points. That is the end of the Terminator's turn. Unfortunately, there is still a lot of aliens on the board. Let's draw an alien event card. It's a Gene Stealer. Place a Gene Stealer next to any Marine or Commander miniature. The Gene Stealer may attack and move as normal this turn. That is bad, because this Gene Stealer is going to target our Heavy Flamer. Okay, let's do this. Gene Stealers roll 2 red dice. And it's rolled a 3. That's a really good hit. Our Heavy Flamer needs a 3 to survive. And he rolls a 4! That is absolutely outstanding. That is incredible. Not only have we survived, we have turned around and we have punched that Gene Stealer straight in the mush. These Terminators are on fire today. Not literally, the Gretchen have been on fire. The Terminators are just doing really well. Absolutely brutal. Do not mess with the Terminators. Unfortunately, we don't get any points for that. Well, I guess it's up to the Gretchen to try and save the day, isn't it? This one at the bottom is going to move around and shoot the Heavy Flamer. We'll just do it from there. And he's rolled a 2. Not quite good enough. There's a Gretchen in the central room where the debris is. He has line of sight on the Stormbolter, so he's going to shoot him. And that's not doing anything, so he is now going to scurry down towards the south. 3 movement to the door and he opens it. And of course we do not want to get too close to our friend, so we are going to move into the corner. We have another Gretchen in that central room. He's going to back off into the corner and try to hurt someone before he dies horribly. Just to there, and he shoots with 2 white. And it's just 2. For a second there I thought that second spinning dice was going to turn up a 2 as well. More Gretchen for the meat grinder. More, I say. The one from the top left scurries into the room, takes up a shooting position. 2 white dice. Nope. And another. He's going to move there and shoot. Nope. And one more. He's going to take his shot from there. No. All we have left to do is advance those 2 Gretchen in the top left. And that finishes the alien turn, and to be honest, that was a massive disappointment. I really thought we were going to see the tables turn a little bit there. I thought we were going to lose the heavy flamer, and that really would have put some hurt on the Terminators, because without that heavy flamer they don't have any crowd control. But there we go, it is what it is. And what it is the Terminators go. We really need to press on into the next room. We need to get to that computer panel. However, with a movement of 4, my commander cannot reach the computer panel this turn anyway, and I think it would be better to try to regroup a bit before we do that. So our commander is going to start this turn by just moving up to the doorway and waiting. So he moves to there, and I think it's just about in line of sight to that Gretchen down in the bottom right. So we are going to shoot. Rolling a 3, we kill another Gretchen. Slowly thinning them out, banking points all the way. Right, let's move our heavy flamer up because we can actually kill 2 Gretchen at once if we're lucky. If we stand there, we actually have line of sight to the space between the 2 Gretchen at the top of the board, so we will drop our flamer shot right there. But we roll double zeros. Just our 3 storm bolters now. First, the one that's furthest south is going to shoot at the Gretchen in the corner of the room. 2 hits, that's a kill. Slow and steady wins the race, 2 more points, and our Terminator advances as far as he can, to there. Next Terminator advances, shoots the Gretchen top right corner. 3 hits, that's another kill. I think we must have finally recalibrated these storm bolters, 2 more points. Our last storm bolter will shoot the Gretchen adjacent to him. That's a miss though, never mind, he pushes forwards, to there. And that finishes our turn. We really are not killing as many things as we need to be killing. And now the alien player activates, drawing a card. Android fault. You may not move or fire any of the androids or the dreadnought this turn due to a control malfunction. Not too worried about that, there are no androids or dreadnoughts on the board. In fact, there's not much of anything on the board. Let's see what we can do with what we've got. Gretchen in the bottom right is going to try and take out this heavy flamer. All the way into the corner. 2 white dice. Nope. We have the Gretchen in the central room. He's going to shoot at the storm bolter that's closest to him. Nope. Think he might take cover. Just to there while his little friend in the corridor takes a shot. 1 hit, nowhere near good enough. We are very low on units, we have 2 Gretchen left. The one that was hiding just behind the doorway to the north scurries around into line of sight and takes a shot. No. Our very final Gretchen will try to do the same, from there. That's not doing it either. I guess we will spend this next Terminator turn cleaning shop. First, our heavy flamer is going to shoot the Gretchen down in the bottom right corner. 3, that's a kill. Little bit of overkill, but it got the job done. 2 points. And now our flamer advances as far as he can. Next, of the 3 storm bolters we have in a row, the one at the top is going to shoot at the Gretchen he can see. Rolls a double zero. Regardless, he keeps the mission in mind and advances. The next storm bolter is going to shoot from there. Rolling a 1, just enough. The Gretchen is removed, and as always we take our 2 points. And then we move. Our last storm bolter will advance and then shoot. We will just go to there for a nice clean shot on this Gretchen. And we roll double zeros. I fear that as this campaign progresses, our Terminators will need to do better than this. I guess the last thing we need to do is we need to advance our commander into the room. He needs to go and activate the computer terminal. 4 movement points is just enough to get to the terminal, but alas, that does not complete the mission. Our commander now has to spend 2 uninterrupted turns accessing the terminal. During that time, he cannot move or shoot or play any order cards. And he is, of course, going to face a lot of attacks while he's doing that. Of course, as our commander has now moved into a new quadrant of the board, we have to place out some blips. And naturally, we are going to put them right in the commander's grill. And here's the thing, I have 1 stack of blips that I had allocated to the last quadrant of the board, and of course, our Terminators have not entered that quadrant. For a laugh, let's place those two. We will place them in that last quadrant as if we had gone and explored it, but these aliens will then advance on us and it will give us just a little bit of added tension for the last few turns of the game. They have all been placed as close as possible in that last quadrant of the board. We can imagine that as we have accessed the terminal, alarms have started sounding, all of the aliens in the building have been activated, they are coming to end us. And speaking of ending, that is the end of the Terminator player's turn, so we start the Alien player's turn. We draw an event card. And we have drawn Alien Elite. You may pick any one alien miniature on the board, that miniature may then be used twice this turn. Unfortunately, we cannot play that on unrevealed blips, so we only have 3 Gretchen to choose from. We may as well give that skill to the Gretchen in the room with the debris. I am sure he will do great things for us. He is going to go to there, and he is going to take 2 shots at the flamethrower. Shot 1. Nope. Shot 2. Still no. But he has a movement left, so he is going to scurry back out of line of sight. Just to there, while his 2 buddies come in and have a go. We take our shot on the flamethrower. Just a 1. The final Gretchen charges, and he's going to shoot that Terminator with the Storm Bolter. Just a 2. Gretchen have been off all game. I don't think they've even rolled enough to kill a regular Marine, let alone a Terminator. But now things are going to kick off because we are going to open the door to the terminal room and we are going to advance with all of these blips. The 2 aliens behind the door are immediately revealed. 2 more Gretchen. Well, that's something. They are not going to worry about the commander for now. They are going to try and take out that flamer because we are going to have a lot of alien bodies in this room. A flamer could be a big problem. So our first one advances to there, and he shoots with 2 white dice. And he has rolled a 3! That is the closest we have come so far, but our flamer has still survived. We need to roll a 4 to kill a Terminator. We're getting closer, let's try again. That one moves to the doorway and shoots at the flamer. That's not so good, just a 1. But I think with those Gretchen moved out of the way, the blip at the bottom of the board is now visible to our commander. And that is a Dreadnought. Our Dreadnought appears there. As much as I enjoy equipping the Dreadnought with a missile launcher, with the close quarters fighting that's going to be happening here, I have instead gone for the plasma gun and the assault cannon. But we're not going to activate him just yet, we're going to activate those other blips first. The first one moves into the room and reveals, and that is a missile launcher. I swear I did not stack these blips. This is pure fluke, this is pure luck that in the final section of the board, with the terminal right in front of us, we are getting out all of the big enemies. The missile launcher does roll 2 red dice when attacking, so it does have the potential to do some serious damage to our commander, so we are going to shoot the commander. First, let's move out of the way of the Dreadnought. We move to there. Even though the terminal is in the splash radius of the missile launcher's attack, it cannot be harmed by this attack, so we just roll our 2 dice and apply it to the commander. And it's a 0-0. Never mind, we have more blips. 2 movement points to there. It's an android. I swear I have not stacked these blips. He has 2 movement points left. That is enough to get into base contact with the commander and attack in hand-to-hand combat. He rolls 2 red dice. And he has rolled a 4, that is huge, that is a big hit. And the Terminator commander rolls a 3, so he loses and does take a wound. He has 5 wounds remaining. Next up, the Dreadnought's going to activate. It has a movement of 4, and we're going to park there. Our Dreadnought could get into hand-to-hand combat with the commander, and it would have the advantage. The Dreadnought rolls 2 red and 2 white combat dice, compared to the commander's 2 red dice. However, 1 bad dice roll and the Dreadnought would be smashed to bits. I think for now we are better off sitting back and just laying down some heavy firepower on the commander. First we hit him with a plasma gun for 2 red dice. That's a 2, that's not good enough. Then we hit him with the assault cannon, that's 2 red dice again. That's 2, still not good enough. And then he unloads his bolters, 2 white dice. And that misses 2. Okay, maybe fortune favours the bold, maybe we should have gone for the hand-to-hand attack. Never mind, there are many more blips to come. Let's activate those 2 on the far right. We open the door. They're not visible at the moment, so they are going to move in. 5 movement points gets that blip to there. 4 movement gets that blip to there, and we can reveal it because the commander can see it. And it's another android. Crikey. Fortunately, that blip moved 4 spaces to get into that position, and androids can only move 4 spaces, so that android cannot move anymore, but it can still shoot at the commander with 3 white dice. Only getting a 2, not good enough. And of course, we have all the blips that are in the top right quadrant, they are all going to advance. And that finishes the turn. It's the start of the Terminator's turn, and we have a difficult choice. Our Terminator commander is at the terminal. If he stays at the terminal for 2 turns and does nothing else, we win the game, and we win the game automatically. We don't even need to get back to the docking claw. However, he has to stay there for 2 turns doing nothing and surviving a lot of incoming fire. Alternatively, we could start this turn by playing our order card Fire, which will allow all of my Terminators to fire twice. That could potentially clear out most of these threats. But of course, if the commander is playing his order card, he is not paying attention to the terminal, and we would still have to wait another 2 turns to complete the mission. So the question is, how stalwart does our commander want to be? Is he going to stand there and brave all of those incoming attacks just to focus on the mission, or is he going to take a moment to call out his orders, get his other Terminators into action, and then deal with the terminal? Honestly, with 2 androids, a dreadnought and a missile launcher all kicking around, I think we have to play the order card. When we play this card, each of our marine miniatures, not our commander miniature, will be able to fire twice. Okay then, let's start with the heavy flamer. He moves into the room, he stands there, and he is going to drop his heavy flamer shot directly on that missile launcher. And he has rolled a 4. That is massive. It kills the android, the missile launcher, and that poor Gretchen. And best of all, we get a second shot. I've got a joke for you. An android, a Chaos Marine, and a Gretchen walk into hell. The devil says, that'll be 22 points please. Our heavy flamer will now take his second shot. He's not allowed to move again. This card isn't giving him a double activation, it's just 2 shots. So from where he is, obviously we are going to shoot at the Dreadnought. Dreadnoughts have an armor value of 4, because they are big chunky boys. And we roll a 3, that's not good enough. Never mind. Next up, being as our commander has played an order card and has already squandered his turn working on the console, he is going to shoot at the android he can see. 2 red dice. And he rolls a 3, that does kill the android. With the exception of the Dreadnought and 1 Chaos Commander somewhere, all of our big threats have been removed. And we get another 10 points. Right, we have our 3 Stormbolters left. Let's get into the room, put down some firepower on this Dreadnought. We're going to stop moving with our Terminator there, because if we go any further, we are lining ourselves up nicely for the Dreadnought's plasma gun. I don't want to do that. We are rolling 1 red and 1 white. We need to score a 3 on the red and a 2 on the white. It's a really hard thing to do, but we have 2 chances to do it. That's our first shot, that's a 00, that is not going to cut it. And our second shot is also a 00. Never mind. Let's move in our next Terminator. He goes to there and he takes 2 shots. That's a 1, that's not good enough. 1 more go. And a 2. Finally, our Terminator over on the left. First of all, he's going to shoot the Gretchen that's directly behind him. That's a 3, that's a kill. Another Gretchen takes a dirt nap, and we score 2 points. He's then going to move 4 spaces, and as tempting as it is to take a shot on the Dreadnought, we're going to shoot the Gretchen behind us. Which we miss. And it is now the alien player's turn. We start by drawing an event card, the equipment malfunction. Pick 1 equipment card owned by any 1 marine player. That equipment card is lost due to malfunction. Fortunately, our Terminators do not have any equipment cards. Okay, our Gretchen that is diagonally adjacent to the Stormbolter is going to shoot. 2 hits. No one is on target in this game. We have 2 more sneaky Gretchen to advance. This one will go to there and shoot. 00s. And our next Gretchen moves to there and rolls a 1. We have a blip right up in our grill, let's reveal it. 2 movement to there and it reveals. And unbelievably, it's the Chaos Commander. The last thing that could really have hurt us. Now we have problems. That Chaos Commander is going to shoot my commander with 2 red dice. He rolls a 0-0 though. And now the Dreadnought brings all of its arms to bear. Let's do it. Let's close in. Close combat. We have the advantage. Let's see if we can crush the commander under our mechanical boot. We move up 2 spaces and we attack with 2 red and 2 white. And we have only rolled a single 1. What was I saying about fortune favours the bold? Our Terminator commander rolls 2 red dice. And he rolls a 2. He has succeeded by 1. That means we have inflicted 1 wound on the Dreadnought and it must discard one of its weapons. And we are going to discard our assault cannon. That just slides off the miniature and is returned to the game box. Well, that could definitely have gone better for the Dreadnought. We still have some blips to move though. Let's advance all of them. Well, isn't this turning into some glorious carnage? I do not have any order cards or equipment cards that can help me here in this situation. I just have to hope for the best. So let's start by activating our Flamer. He's going to move there and he is going to attack the Chaos Marine Commander. Of course, the Dreadnought will also be in the splash range. And no, if I target the bottom right corner of the Dreadnought, it will not be hit 4 times, it's still only hit once. That is 6, the maximum I could have rolled, and that absolutely obliterates everything. Dreadnoughts have an armor class of 4 and they can take a maximum of 3 wounds. Each time they take a wound, they have to remove one of their heavy weapons. When they have no heavy weapons left to remove and they take a wound, they are destroyed. So our Dreadnought had 2 wounds remaining. By rolling a 6, we have inflicted just enough damage to destroy it completely. And of course, the poor Chaos Commander gets obliterated too. This was a huge roll and has pretty much won the game for us. The commander turns his attention back to the console, muttering under his breath, "Well, I helped." And our Flamer racks up another 35 points. The aliens threw everything at them in these final turns, but it was not enough. Maybe if the Terminators had lost a few models earlier on, things would have been different, but with a full squad of 5 Terminators, even 2 androids, a Dreadnought and a Chaos Commander, and indeed a missile launcher, plus some other Gretchen, it just wasn't enough. Okie dokie, our Storm Bolter in the middle of the line is going to shoot the Gretchen behind him. That's 3 hits, that's a kill. The Heavy Flamer cheers him sarcastically, and we add a measly 2 points to the bank. But he is then going to move into a position to protect our commander. Just there. Our Storm Bolter in the bottom left is going to shoot the Gretchen adjacent to him. And he misses. Never mind, he's going to stay put. And our last Terminator is going to go and plug the gap and then plug a Gretchen. He moves to there and shoots. At least the Heavy Flamer's doing something. Our commander of course presses some buttons. Beep bop boop, he is halfway to winning the mission. The alien player draws an event card. Battle plan, each marine player may pick 1 extra order card. Well, that's pretty much irrelevant at this point because our commander is not going to be able to play any order cards because doing so would distract him from completing his objective. Well, I guess these 2 Gretchen on the left might as well shoot at the Terminators. We need to kill something at least. First shot. Nope. Second shot. Nope. They could retreat, get out of line of sight, prevent the Terminators from scoring any more points, but at this stage, the Terminators have all the damn points, it doesn't matter. Let's see what we can do with our remaining army of blips. The closest one advances, coming into line of sight and being revealed. It is our last Chaos Warrior, very late to the party. He has more than enough movement points to get into base contact with the Storm Bolter and attack in hand-to-hand combat. We might as well at this point play the odds, try to kill something. We stand there and attack with 2 white dice. And we roll double zeros. The alien player just can't catch a break today. Our Terminator responds. He also rolls double zero though. It is a stay of execution. Let's get some more blips into action. 3 movement points to there. It's just a Gretchen. Thought we'd nearly killed them all. He may as well keep moving into the corner. He's got line of sight on the Storm Bolter. He might get lucky. 2 white dice. No. Next blip. 3 movement to there. It is an orc. We have one last chance at least to get into hand-to-hand combat and do some damage. Come on my beautiful green boys, kill at least one of these tin cans for me. We roll 2 white dice. 1 success. The Terminator retaliates. And also rolls 1, so the orc doesn't die, but it doesn't kill anything either. We keep going, more blips. 5 movement points to there will get us into line of sight. It's just a Gretchen. He will continue moving into the corner and shoot, like so. Double zeros. At this point, I expected nothing else. We can get another blip in though. That's 4 movement to there, and it's another Gretchen. Really was hoping for one of his big cousins, but he may as well take a shot on the Storm Bolter. 2. Let's move the last of these blips. We'll bring those in next turn. Did I move the ones over on the left? Does it even matter? Let's bring them round anyway. If I've already moved them, they can have a double movement. It doesn't matter. We can give the alien player all the bonuses at this point. They have lost. Okie dokie, our Terminator on the far right is going to back off 1 space. He's going to shoot the Chaos Marine. 2, not enough to kill it. But have no fear, here comes the Heavy Flamer. He's going to stand there and he is going to drop a fireball directly in front of that orc. And he rolls a double zero. Okay, Terminator over on the far left is going to shoot at the Gretchen. And kills it. And of course, we all know by now, that's 2 points. And then that Terminator is going to move to there. Our last Storm Bolter is going to shoot the Gretchen behind him. 1 success, he does kill it. You know the drill. Gretchen falls down, score goes up. And that last Terminator is going to move to plug the gap in our defensive line. Our commander goes bleep blop bloop, and that is that. We have accessed the terminal for 2 consecutive turns without being interrupted. The alien player has 1 final turn in which they can attempt to score some points, and then that is that. We draw an alien event card. Booby Trap. A Marine steps onto a defense charge. Pick any 1 Marine miniature, not a commander, and make a missile launcher attack on that square. Naturally, I'm going to target the Flamer. And I roll a double zero. Did we expect anything else? Never mind, let's do some killy stuff. Our Marine is going to move into the room and attack the Flamer. 2 white dice. And we roll 2 successes, that's pretty good. The Flamer retaliates. And rolls double zero. Unfortunately, right at the very end of the mission, the very last turn, the Flamer goes down. I was hoping for a clean sweep, but there we go, it has to be expected. The alien player rolls so many dice, sooner or later the odds will swing. Let's see if we can go 2 for 2 with our orc. He's going right to the back and he's attacking with 2 white dice. 1 success. The Terminator defends. And rolls double zero. That is another kill. In 1 turn, in 2 rounds of hand-to-hand combat, we have lost 2 Terminators. If the Terminators had rolled like that earlier on, this would have been a very different game. Well, that Gretchen in the bottom right's got line of sight on the Terminator. Let's see if we can go 3 for 3. No. But we have more Gretchen. This one will shoot from there. No. And the last one will shoot from there. No. We do have more blips, but they cannot get into line of sight this turn, and therefore the game is over. It is a comprehensive win for the Terminators, despite some unusual losses on the very final turn. Let's tot up our mission points and our campaign points. Well, to put it bluntly, this was a devastating loss for the alien player. They only managed to kill 1 Flamer unit and 1 Storm Bolter unit. Now, when you run a regular Marine squad, the alien player scores 5 points for killing a Marine and 10 points for killing a commander. There is no mention in the rules for this campaign that the killing of Terminators should grant more points than that. However, considering Terminators are tougher and deadlier than regular Marines, it seems reasonable to make them worth more points. So I am valuing regular Terminators at 10 points, and the Heavy Flamer and the Commander at 15 points. As the alien player killed the Flamer and 1 regular Terminator, he gets a total of 25 points. Unfortunately, a score of less than 29 points is bad news for them. The powers of chaos are displeased with them and transform them into a chaos spawn. In other words, they would have lost all the progress they had made in the campaign up to this point. Fortunately for them, it was the first mission in the campaign. Meanwhile, the Terminators completed the primary objective and accessed the computer terminal, scoring 30 points. Additionally, they killed 157 points worth of aliens. However, we do have to deduct points for the Terminators we lost, so from our total of 187 points, we deduct 25 points for a total score of 162, which is still absolutely huge. This is a heroic performance, which means they get 3 honour badges for the start of the next mission. Furthermore, we are automatically promoted. We go from Sergeant to Lieutenant Primus. As a Lieutenant Primus, we will start the game with 2 order cards. Having 3 honour badges, we will also have access to 3 equipment cards. We could also cash in some of those honour badges for a Librarian. The final thing to note is because we won this first mission in the campaign, we have scored 10 victory points for the campaign. To be ultimately victorious, by the time we have finished this 5-part campaign, we must have at least 35 victory points. This is a good start. Going into mission 2, we now have 2 order cards. I have selected Fire, which will let all of my Space Marines fire twice in their turn, and Bisections, which will allow each of my Space Marines to choose whether to move twice or fire twice. Furthermore, I have cashed in 2 of my honour badges to bring on a Space Marine Librarian. The Librarian takes the place of one of my regular Terminators with a Stormbolter and comes with 4 special powers. I asked the Always Bored Never Boring club members to vote on which special powers they would like me to bring along. These are what we have: Smite, Lightning Arc, Teleport and Aura. We will go through those as and when we use them. Even after cashing in 2 of our honour badges to bring along a Librarian, we still have 1 honour badge remaining, which means we are allowed to bring an item of equipment with us. I have selected the Medi Kit. I can give this to my commander and he can use it to restore lost life points. This is just going to ensure he stays in the fight. Let's read the mission objective for mission 2. Primary mission, HT AF002, Sector Beta Magellan, Lightning Assault. Hermiotus is heading for an asteroid base called Gorinum. The computer data has told us the location of Gorinum and a relay station which supplies it. A cargo ship heading for Gorinum is due to stop off at the station for refueling, and the relay station must be captured before the ship arrives so we can infiltrate Gorinum. The primary mission token will be won by the Space Marine player that scores the most points. If the alien player survives long enough to play all of his event cards, the supply ship arrives and the alien player wins the primary mission. So the victory conditions for this mission are a bit iffy when you are only playing with a single squad of Marines. Because basically, if we kill every alien in the mission, then we will score the bonus 30 points for completing the primary mission. If we fail to kill all of the aliens before the event deck runs out, then the alien player will score those bonus 30 points for the primary mission instead. And this does cause a bit of a problem, because it would be quite easy for the alien player to ensure they win those points. Terminators are very slow, they only move 4 spaces a turn. Gretchen are very fast, they move 8 spaces a turn. It would be quite easy to hold back some Gretchen and keep running away with them to ensure that the timer runs out and the Space Marines do not get those points. Obviously a tactic that wouldn't work if there were more squads on the board closing in on the Gretchen from all directions, but when you only have 1 squad, probably quite easy to achieve. But it would be boring to play and even more boring to watch, so we're not going to do that. We're going to make some minor adjustments. We are going to play the aliens as aggressively as possible. They are going to close in on this Terminator squad and they are going to try to kill them. But to give them a bit of a fighting chance and to improve their odds of being able to score those 30 points for the primary mission, each turn we will be drawing 2 alien event cards instead of 1. That means the Terminators only have 14 turns to wipe the board. Hopefully that will keep things interesting. As always with my solo playthroughs, before starting the game, I divided all of the blips for this adventure into 4 stacks and allocated 1 stack to each quadrant of the board. Furthermore, for this mission I do have access to some reinforcements. We will talk about that during the alien reinforcement phase. For now, I think we just need to get started. We begin by activating one of our Terminators with a Stormbolter. 2 spaces into the corridor, we will open the door. We will then continue moving to here. Having completed that activation, we take our first stack of blips and we place them on this quadrant of the board. We have 7 blips in total, 4 behind the door on the left, 3 behind the door on the right. We can now move up the rest of our Terminator squad. We will position them like that, with our 2 regulars up front and then our commander, our flamer unit and our librarian in the rear with all the gear. That completes the first Terminator turn, so we move into the first Alien turn. We will be drawing 2 Alien event cards and applying them both. Our first 2 cards are Android Fault, you may not move or fire any of the androids or the Dreadnought this turn due to a control malfunction, and Alien Teleporter, any 2 alien miniatures on the board may be swapped over. Neither of those cards are going to have an impact on gameplay this turn. Having played the cards, it's time to activate some blips. Let's start killing some Terminators. We're going to open this door on the left. I'm going to reveal those 2 blips behind the door immediately. We have an Orc and a Gretchen. An Orc's gonna Orc. Let's charge into combat, see if we can take down a Terminator straight away. Orcs roll 2 white dice. He's rolled a single hit. Terminators roll a red and a white. And the Terminator rolls 3 successes. We take away the lowest value from the highest value. The difference is the number of wounds inflicted on the loser. In this case, the Orc takes 2 wounds and is absolutely pulverized. But he went out doing what he loves. And that dead Orc earns us 3 victory points. Let's activate the Gretchen. Gretchen is going to move as far out the way as possible and take a pot shot at the Terminator with 2 white dice. We are looking for 4 successes for a kill. 2 successes, not bad, not good enough. But our Terminator does now have eyes on another blip, so we better reveal it. It's another Orc. Orcs can move up to 6 spaces, so that Orc is close enough to engage in melee, and that's exactly what it's going to do. I said we were going to play the aliens aggressively, let's do that. Unfortunately, that Orc has rolled 00. The Terminator retaliates, 1 success will be good enough. And rolls a 5. That Terminator meant business. That is the second crushed Orc of the day. And if you are wondering why I am throwing my Orcs into the meat grinder like this, it is because even though they only roll 2 white dice compared to a Terminator's red and white dice in melee combat, that is still their best chance of killing a Terminator, because at range Orcs are only rolling 2 white dice, which is something like a 3% chance of a kill. Let's keep going, we have more blips to reveal. This one moves into the corridor. It's another Orc. I think you know how this goes. Wah. 2 successes, that is a really good hit. We've got to go 3 for 3 with this Terminator. And he has rolled a 3. He has just scraped through, inflicted a single wound on the Orc, and got his 3rd kill of the day. But that was a little bit tense. Terminators are up to 9 points, but we're not done yet. Let's open the other door. We will move the first blip into line of sight. I think it's visible from there. And it's just a Gretchen, which of course is going to back up the corridor and shoot. Just to there, we do know that the Terminators have a heavy flamer, we don't want to bunch up. 2 white dice looking for 4 successes. Just 2 again. Next blip, to there. More green skins for the grinder. We are going to move slightly, just to there, and we will take a shot at the lead Terminator. And that's a big fat nothing. Final blip, we reveal it there. 1 more Orc. We moved 3 spaces to get this far. We have 3 spaces left. Let's go for it. 00. Let's see if our Terminator can pick up his 4th Orc skull of the day. No, he rolls 00 as well. The Orc has survived. That's almost the end of the alien phase. The last thing we can do is bring in reinforcements. There are 2 different places where we can bring in reinforcements. We are only going to bring in a couple, and we are going to bring them in the bottom left quadrant. The last 3 squares of the bottom row of the far left corner of the quadrant are access points for reinforcements. For this adventure, we have access to 8 Orc reinforcement blips. But, for a bit of fun, we are not going to be calling in Orc reinforcements. It's time to bring out the hybrids. Just the 2 for now, and they appear down in that bottom corner. My hybrids are armed with a whole assortment of different weapons, but for Space Crusade it doesn't matter. In ranged combat they all roll 1 red and 1 white dice with no special rules. There are special rules for hybrids with heavy weapons, but there will not be any heavy weapons in this particular mission. It should be noted that while hybrids are quite deadly at range, they are very squishy. They only roll 2 white dice in close combat, and their armor class is 0, the same as a Gretchen. So they are very susceptible to ranged fire. But those hybrids are a problem for another turn. For now, let's see if we can clear out these greenskins and keep moving. Remember, we have to clear out this whole space station before we run out of alien event cards. So we're going to start by activating our regular Stormbolter Terminator, who is on the left. He is going to shoot diagonally at the orc in front of him. 2 successes for a kill. That's a 0-0. Doesn't matter, we are going to press on. He is moving to there. That frees up line of sight for my commander. My commander rolls 2 red dice and has the best chance of killing the orc. But he also rolls 0-0. Never mind, push on. He moves to there. Next we're going to activate the Heavy Flamer. He is going to drop his Flamer shot directly between the 2 Gretchen in front of him. Right there, as indicated by the red dice. We roll 2 red dice, and if we roll at least 1 success, both of these Gretchen are killed. That's 3 successes, that's 2 dead Gretchen. Gretchen are worth 2 points each, so that is 4 points for the pool. Let's keep moving. Next up we are going to activate the Terminator directly in front of the orc. While it is a bit more of a risk than taking a shot, he is going to punch the orc in the face because I just really want to make sure this orc goes down. We have rolled 2 successes. The orc retaliates. And only rolls 1 success, so we do punch the orc in the face and take his head off. Our Terminator moves. Finally, our Librarian has a nice clean shot at the Gretchen at the end of the corridor. He rolls 1 red and 1 white dice. 2 successes, that's a kill. We will jog along to catch up with our friends, and that finishes our turn. We have cleared the first quadrant of the board, thanks in no small part to the orcs throwing themselves in front of my power fists. The aliens now activate. We start by drawing 2 alien event cards and applying them both. Our first card is Alien Task Force. Mix up the unused reinforcement tokens and then pick 2 at random to add to your reinforcement pool. We got a Chaos Marine and a Gretchen. The second event is Psychic Attack. The mothership channels a psychic attack onto the alien vessel. The Gretchen and the orcs are affected and may not move or fire this turn. Well, they weren't going to do much of that anyway. Meanwhile, down here in the corner we have our 2 hybrids. They can only move 6 spaces, so they cannot move far enough to get eyes on any of the Terminators, so they are going to set an ambush. They are going to move there like that, and then we are going to summon an additional 2 hybrids. After a very short alien player's turn, we are back with the Terminators, and we really do need to keep moving. We are going to risk putting our commander in a dangerous situation, but I want to keep clearing out aliens as much as possible. So we are going to move 3 spaces into the room, and we will open the door. We have 1 movement point left, so we will move into the room. We now have to place our blips. We can place them anywhere on this board section out of line of sight. So we will place 1 there behind the barrel. The rest we will place like so. 4 in the room to the left, 2 in the corridor. We can now move the rest of our squad into position, and as I have done this, I have realised that as the alien player, I have just made a really stupid move. It's a move that will pull the Heavy Flamer unit out of position from the Terminator squad, but it is probably something that is worth doing for the Terminator player. So we are going to activate the Heavy Flamer unit. We are going to move to that door and open it. From this position, we do not have line of sight on any blips. But you don't need line of sight to any blips to fire your Heavy Flamer. You can target any empty space. We can target the space that I have just indicated with a red dice. All of the blips behind the door, behind the wall, are safe, but those 2 blips in the corridor are in the blast radius and could well die before they are even revealed. Let's roll some red dice. And remember, unlike the missile launcher, everything in the splash radius of a heavy flamer attack takes the total of the 2 red dice in damage. That is a 2. Let's see what these blips were. It was an Orc and a Gretchen. Both units are instantly destroyed before they have even had a chance to reveal and get involved in the action. That was a really bad mistake from the alien player. They just have to hope now that they can capitalise on the fact that the heavy flamer is somewhat out of position. Let's move up the rest of the squad. And I would say the librarian at the moment needs to be bolder. He needs to be in the heart of the action, not hanging back behind the shield wall. But never mind, that is the end of the Terminator player's turn. It's the alien player's turn and we draw 2 event cards. Our first card is Frenzy. Any one Gretchen or Orc may attack twice in hand-to-hand combat this turn. Let's hope there is at least one Orc on the board beside the one that just got flamed. And then we have Alien Elite. You may pick any one alien miniature on the board. That miniature may then be used twice this turn. That means we're going to get to activate one of our hybrids twice, which we will do in a moment. First, let's activate this blip behind the barrel. 1 space to reveal. Luckily, it's just a Gretchen and not a Dreadnought. That Gretchen wants to get out of the way a little bit. He's going to move into the corner and take a shot at the Terminator with the Stormbolter. He rolls 2 white dice and gets nothing. Next, let's open this door on the left and see what some of these blips are. What have we got? What we have got are problems. That is a Chaos Marine and a Dreadnought. Now, as far as I'm aware, there's nothing in the rules to cover this particular situation. When you reveal the Dreadnought blip, you place the miniature and the miniature covers 4 squares. You have to place the miniature so that at least one of the squares of its base is covering the square where the blip was. In this particular situation, that means the miniature will be standing on top of another blip. I guess there are 2 ways to rule this. First, you could rule it that the second blip is a glitch and you just remove it from play. But where's the fun in that? We are going to rule that the blip is just moved into the first available empty space. So the blip is just moved to there behind the door. And now we can place our Dreadnought and our Chaos Marine. And now we are going to move the Chaos Marine first to get him out of the way. He's actually going to come down to this door in the south. 2 movement points to there and he opens the door. He's then going to move into the room, and from there he's going to shoot diagonally at the Terminator with the Stormbolter. Regular Chaos Marines roll 2 white dice. He has rolled a 1, that's not going to cut it. Okay, we are going to activate our Dreadnought, and we may now find it was a bad idea to move that Flamer unit out into the open. Our Dreadnought moves into the corridor, and if it can draw line of sight from any of its 4 squares to the target, then line of sight is clear for all of its guns, which means it can bring its full armaments to bear against the heavy flamer. First, we roll the plasma gun. 2 red dice. That's 00. Our Terminator lives. But now we roll for the assault cannon. That's 2. We have managed to survive the onslaught of 2 heavy weapons, but the Dreadnought does get some bolters as well, rolling 2 white dice. And it misses. Well, that wasn't great. But never mind, we press on. We are going to activate our hybrids, and remember the first of these will get to activate twice because of the Alien Elite card that was drawn at the start of the round. We open the door, and now we get 2 shots on the Terminator directly in front of us. We roll a red and a white dice. We get nothing on our first shot. And 3 on the second shot. That is so close. We need 4 successes to kill a Terminator, so that just misses. Okay, this hybrid is going to back out of the way. Our next hybrid activates. It's going to move to there and it's going to shoot at the Terminator. 2 successes, not good enough. 4 movement to the door and we open it. We will use our last 2 movement to get inside. I'm going to move that blip out of the way of the door so I can then move up my final hybrid. So the blip goes to there, and the hybrid goes to there. The final thing to do is call some reinforcements, and I do think now would be a good time to bring in even more hybrids. Let's put the pressure on. With that done, the alien player's turn is over, and unfortunately, our Frenzy card is wasted because we didn't have a Gretchen or an Orc that could attack in hand-to-hand combat this turn. I said last turn I wanted to get the Librarian on the front line, and that's exactly what we're going to do. There are a lot of powerful enemies on the board, so we are going to use the Psychic Power Aura, which increases our Librarian's armor class to 4, making him incredibly hard to kill in ranged combat. And unlike most other psychic abilities, Aura still allows the Librarian to take a normal turn. Additionally, our commander is going to use the Order Fire, which allows all the Space Marine miniatures to fire twice. Note that the game does make a distinction between Commander miniatures and Marine miniatures, so I only apply orders to the regular Marines. It is something that is up for debate. I'm not going to go into it anymore here because I want to keep the video moving, but just be aware that the Commander will not benefit from this order card himself, and I am extending that to the Librarian as well. Okay, let's get the good stuff out of the way first. Let's activate our Flamer unit. We move 2 spaces into the corridor and we open the door. Then we are going to move into the corner of the room to give us a little bit of cover. We will then drop our Flamer shot exactly where indicated by this red dice. Right in the middle of the Dreadnought, the Marine and the Gretchen. We get 2 shots here. That is a 4. That's enough to kill the Chaos Marine and the Gretchen. Unfortunately, the Dreadnought has an armor class of 4 and remains completely unscathed. Still, that is another 7 points for the Marines, and we do get a second shot. We need at least a 5 here. And that is a 5! That is incredible. That inflicts 1 wound on the Dreadnought, and it has to remove one of its heavy weapons of the alien player's choice. We will remove the autocannon. That unclips from the miniature and goes back in the box. Next, we will activate the Terminator with a Stormbolter, who is facing off with a Hybrid. Hybrids have an armor class of 0, so 1 success is enough. But we get 0-0. Never mind, we will get a second shot, but first we are going to move to there, so we can shoot the little Hybrid with the lasgun down in the corner. And this time we do get our 1 success and the Hybrid is killed. Hybrids are a direct replacement for Orcs, so that is another 3 points for the Marines. Our next Terminator advances. He shoots the Hybrid directly in front of him. Scoring 3, that's another kill. And another 3 points. We do have a second shot, but unfortunately we don't have eyes on any of the other Hybrids, so I guess we'll just shoot at the Dreadnought instead. We have almost no chance of causing any damage. And indeed, we don't. It's time for the Librarian to show his quality. He is going to engage the Dreadnought in hand-to-hand combat. High risk, big rewards. 4 movement points gets into there, and then we roll 2 red and 2 white dice with our force weapon. And we have rolled 6! That is massive! The Dreadnought needs a really good roll here. But it only rolls 2! That is a pitiful result for the Dreadnought. The Librarian beats it by 4 and absolutely destroys it. That is a huge 25 points for the Space Marines and a huge setback for the aliens. And we still get to activate our commander, but before we do that, I've just realised there is a blip that's in line of sight that we need to reveal. It's just a Gretchen. We're not worried about that. Our commander moves into the room with the Hybrids. We'll put him there, and he is bringing the smackdown. He is going to shoot the Hybrid that has line of sight to the Librarian. Rolling 4 successes and easily killing it. Things are really not going well for the alien player right now. Fortunately for the aliens, that is the end of the Marines' turn, so we draw 2 event cards. The first card is Mothership Communications. Read out the text shown in the mission for the secondary mission. Danger, danger! The Mothership has detected aliens trying to send a warning to Gorinum. The Mothership is jamming the message, but they may break through at any time. The obstacle in the machine room represents the communications equipment. The secondary mission will be won by the Space Marine player who destroys the equipment. Well, things continue to get worse for the alien player. The Space Marine players now have to destroy the obstacle in the machine room, and the machine room just so happens to be the room our commander is standing in. There is a timer involved. You have to do this before half of the remaining alien event cards have been used, but our Marines are perfectly positioned, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. Let's draw our second alien event. Wow, it goes from bad to worse for the aliens. We've drawn new orders. Pick a Marine player, they draw 1 extra order card. We are going to take Move It, which allows our Marines to move twice in a turn. Disaster, compounding disaster for the aliens, but let's see if we can turn the tables. Our lone Gretchen is going to try to shank the Librarian. Why not? He has no chance of killing him at range because of the Librarian's aura ability, and almost no chance of killing anything else anyway. Let's try our luck. Stranger things have happened. And he has rolled 2 successes! This will be very embarrassing for the Marines if the Librarian dies. And he has rolled a 2, so he has survived, but so does the Gretchen. After taking out a Dreadnought like an absolute boss, the Librarian is clearly a little tuckered out. Let's see what our last blip is. Once it moves to there, it is revealed, because this is actually a rule I keep forgetting. Miniatures block line of sight for shooting, but they don't block line of sight for revealing blips. And it's another Gretchen. It's going to try its luck. It sensed blood in the water, but it rolls no successes. The Librarian retaliates and rolls 4 zeros. Unbelievably, a second Gretchen has survived close combat with a Librarian. Let's activate the hybrids. That one moves to there and shoots the closest Terminator. 1 success is not going to do it. The second one moves to there to shoot the Terminator directly in front of him. And misses. Last one. Scurries down the corridor to take a shot at the Heavy Flamer. And he rolls a 5. That is the best result you can get with a red and a white dice, and we have taken out the Heavy Flamer. That is massive. With the Heavy Flamer gone, the Marines have lost a lot of their crowd control. Suddenly, just like that, the game has turned around. 15 points for the alien player, minus 15 points for the Marines. And now the aliens are going to attempt to capitalise on that success by bringing in some more reinforcements. If you remember, we got some bonus reinforcement tokens, a Chaos Marine and a Gretchen. We're going to bring on those. At the start of the Terminator turn, the aura around the Librarian dissipates and he goes back to Armour Class 3. But he is immediately going to use another ability. This time he is going to use Lightning Arc in the hopes of clearing the corridor he's standing in. Additionally, our commander is going to play a second order, by sections, which will allow our 2 remaining regular Terminators to either move twice or attack twice. First of all, let's resolve Lightning Arc. The way this works is you pick a target within 10 spaces and line of sight. You roll 2 red dice against that target, and if you kill it, the lightning will bounce to another target within line of sight, and you roll again. This continues until the lightning has travelled a total of 10 spaces, or you fail to kill a target, or there are no more enemies in your line of sight. We will start by directing this at the hybrid, our biggest threat. 5 successes on the hybrid, that is a kill, and then the lightning will bounce onto the first Gretchen. And we roll a 4, so that Gretchen dies too, and we go again on the final Gretchen. But we roll 00, so once again that Gretchen has somehow managed to survive the Librarian's wrath. The Gretchen is living its best life, and I should imagine the Librarian is getting a bit annoyed with it. Nevertheless, we have avenged our Heavy Flamer and scored 5 more victory points. Unfortunately, because the Librarian used a psychic power, he can't do anything else this turn. Next up, we have a Terminator with a Stormbolter. He's targeting the hybrid directly in front of the communication objective we have to destroy. But we roll 00. Fortunately, he gets another try. And this time he is successful. The disco dice did nothing for us, but we get 2 successes on the red, more than enough. Because we played by sections and that Terminator fired twice, it cannot move, so we switch to our second Stormbolter. He has line of sight to a hybrid, so that's what we'll shoot at. He rolls a 3, that's a kill. With his second shot, he's going to target the objective. He needs to roll 3 hits to destroy it. And there it is! We have destroyed the objective, which means we get another 15 points for completing the secondary mission. We just have our commander left to activate. He's going to keep pushing forwards, but then he will shoot the Chaos Space Marine, which is the biggest threat left on the board. So we move 4 to there, and then attack with 2 red dice. And unfortunately we miss. That ends the Terminator's turn. I'm a bit disappointed that even playing Lightning Arc and Bisections, there are still enemies on the board. But never mind, let's draw 2 event cards. Uh-oh, we've got a Gene Stealer. We will pop him right there next to the Librarian. The Librarian has not been rolling well in close combat, we may be able to kill him. First though, a second event card. Mech Assault. All the androids and the Dreadnought may move up to twice their normal move this turn, as well as attack. That's not a lot of use, is it? Okay, let's get straight to business. The Gene Stealer attacks the Librarian with 2 red dice. Rolling 2 successes. Not a bad hit. But the Librarian is back on form. That is a huge retaliation. He scores 7, not only defending himself, but absolutely murdering the Gene Stealer. Popped its head like a grape. Well, that was disastrous for the aliens, but let's see if the little Gretchen can do better. Rolling 1 white dice. He rolls nothing. The Librarian retaliates. And clearly he's got his second wind because that is 5. The Gretchen is obliterated. Good work from the Librarian, and while we don't get any points for the Gene Stealer, we do get 2 points for the Gretchen. Let's see if the Chaos Marine can do any better. He goes for hand-to-hand combat, rolling 2 white dice. And gets 2 successes. But the Terminator also gets 2 successes. It's a standoff. These close combat rolls are tense. Let's see what our last Gretchen can do. He moves into melee, he rolls 1 white dice. He gets nothing. The Terminator retaliates. Gets a 1. That's another dead Gretchen. It has been another bad turn for the aliens, and now it's the reinforcement phase. We can't bring on any reinforcements in this bottom corner because you aren't allowed to bring on reinforcements where the Marines have line of sight. I did forget that earlier on in this playthrough. Oops. There is another reinforcement zone in the top right corner, but I don't think it's worth spawning anything up there just yet, so we'll wait a while. That means it's the Terminator's turn, and we're going to start by using our Terminator with a Stormbolter to shoot this Chaos Marine right in the face. We roll 4 successes, we easily succeed. That's 5 more victory points, and we have cleared the second zone. Time to book it, everyone. After moving the whole squad, we can go straight back to the alien player's turn. They have nothing to do except draw 2 event cards. The first card is Auto Defense. You may shoot at 1 Marine or Commander on a corridor square. Roll 1 heavy weapon dice. Well, none of my Terminators are in a corridor, and even if they were, it's impossible to kill them with a single red dice, so we could ignore this card. The second card is Weapons Jammed. Play on 1 Marine player, that player may not fire any heavy weapons on his next turn. I don't have any heavy weapons since my poor Flamer unit got taken out of action, so we can ignore this card too. With all that done, our Terminators can push on. As we start the new Terminator phase, we really just want to keep pushing forwards. We are running out of time to secure our objective of clearing this space station. So our commander is going to move into the next board section, 3 movement to there, and we open the door, and with our final movement we will just hide behind the corner. And now of course we have to place our next stack of blips. We will place them like so. And then we need to move up the rest of the squad. Nice and quick, we move straight on to the next alien phase. Our first event is Report In. Play on 1 of the Marine players. That player may not move or attack with his commander miniature on his next turn as he must report in. Last time I had this card, I completely forgot to apply it. Let's see if I can completely forget again. Secondly, we have Auto Defense. Roll 1 heavy weapon die against a Marine or commander miniature in a room square. 1 heavy weapon dice is not enough to kill a Terminator, so we discard this card. Let's activate some blips. We will start by opening the door to the north. Our first blip moves forwards to there and reveals. It is an orc. That orc has already moved 3 spaces. It does not have enough range left to get into base contact with either of the Terminators with Stormbolters or the Librarian, so we may as well go into hand-to-hand combat with the Commander. We move to there and roll 2 white dice. We've rolled nothing. Although the Commander is reporting in, he still gets to defend himself, 2 red dice. And he's rolled a 3, so that is a kill. Let's keep the pressure on. This blip moves 3 spaces to here, and it is a Gretchen. At this point, having lost the Dreadnought and most of our hybrids, we don't have a lot of punching power left in the alien forces, so we are going to play to the whims of fate, and our Gretchen is going to enter hand-to-hand combat with a regular Terminator. 1 white dice. 1 success. And we get 1 success in retaliation, so neither combatant is defeated. The next blip moves. Same technique, 3 movement to there, and it's another Gretchen. Let's keep piling on that pressure. 1 white dice on the Terminator. 1 success. And 1 success in retaliation again. These Terminators should be doing better against these Gretchen. Next blip. 3 movement to there. Yet another Gretchen. And this one's going to go and take a crack at the Librarian. Why not? If nothing else, we are clagging up this room. Although maybe not for long, we completely fluffed our attack. But then, the Librarian fluffs his defense as well. That's embarrassing. We have more blips to the left, let's open the door. And we advance. 4 movement to there. Another Gretchen. And it does have enough movement to squeeze into the room with the Terminators. Let's keep going. 1 white dice. And it's 2 successes. Actually, quite a bit of pressure for the Terminator player. But the Terminator player does defend. Still, this room is full of Gretchen who have thrown caution to the wind, engaged in hand-to-hand combat, and while they haven't killed anything, they haven't died either. Next blip, 4 to there, and it is the Chaos Commander. This is the toughest enemy still in the game, and he can get line of sight on the Librarian. He's going to take a shot. He moves to there and he shoots 2 red dice. And he rolls 00, it's a complete fluff. Next blip, 4 movement to there, and it is an orc. It might as well take a stab at the Commander, it's got nothing else to do. 2 white dice, 00. The Commander rolls 4 successes. That orc is very dead. And that brings us to the end of the alien phase, except for reinforcements. We have 2 hybrid tokens left, and we can now bring them in at the bottom right corner of the board here, because the Space Marines do not have line of sight to that reinforcement zone. And so we will place them like so. It is the start of the Terminator phase. We are going to activate one of our Terminators with a Stormbolter. He's going to move to there and shoot the Gretchen directly in front of him. Rolling a single success, which is enough to kill it. Next, we are going to move our Librarian. He is going to go up and engage the Commander in hand-to-hand combat. He sneaks in there and attacks with 2 red and 2 white dice. And he has rolled 6 successes. The Commander rolls 2 red dice in defense and needs to roll the maximum 6 in order to survive. He rolls 2, that is not good enough. We have killed the Commander, that's another 10 points. At this point, as long as we don't run out the clock, I would say the Terminators have this game in the bag. Our final Terminator is going to shoot the Gretchen diagonally in front of him. He misses, but that's fine, we're on the move. Just to there, blocking line of sight to our Librarian. We draw our next alien event card. Out of ammo, choose any one Marine miniature armed with a heavy weapon. That miniature's weapon is empty and must be replaced with a bolter. Well, we don't have any heavy weapons, so we ignore that. Our second event is Booby Trap. A Marine steps onto a defense charge. Pick any one Marine miniature, not a commander. Make a missile launcher attack on that square. So we're going to drop that on the Stormbolter directly in front of our Librarian. It misses anyway. All of our Gretchen are going to push their luck. That one moves in there and attacks in hand-to-hand combat. Rolls a 0. The Terminator rolls A 2. That Gretchen's luck has run out. Still, let's keep going. He moves in there and attacks. He rolls a 0 too. And the Terminator rolls a 3. This is more what we expect from our Terminators. One more Gretchen to go. Same spot, same chance. And he rolls a 0. The Terminator rolls another 3. That's 3 Gretchens in a row. Still, we have some hybrids. First one's going to shoot at the Stormbolter in front of him. Only a single success, that's not good enough. He advances. As far as he can to there. And now the second one takes a shot. 3! So close and yet so far. He needed 4 successes for the kill, so he just advances up. And that completes the alien turn. We don't even have any reinforcements left. At the start of the Terminator turn, we're going to do 2 things. First of all, we are going to use another Librarian Psychic Power. We are going to play Teleport to zap ourselves across the board. Additionally, now that our commander is no longer reporting in and can take actions as normal, we will play Move It so that our regular Terminators can move twice this turn. We need to cover a lot of ground. So first, our Librarian will teleport. He's got to stay in the board quadrant, but he's going all the way up there. Next, our Terminators move twice. They have nothing to shoot at, so they're just going to double move. He can get all the way to there, so he may as well open the door. Our second Terminator also double moves, getting him to there, and then our commander makes a regular move. We are closing in on the final quadrant of the board. But before we can continue, it is time for another alien turn. The first card is Battle Plan. Each Marine player may pick 1 extra order card. We only have 1 left we can take. It is Close Assault. Any of our Marines with bolters can shoot and make a close assault attack in the same turn. And our second card is Equipment Malfunction. Pick 1 equipment card owned by any 1 Marine player. That equipment card is then lost due to malfunction. I only have 1 equipment card. It is my Medi Kit, so that is removed from play. Hopefully we won't need it. The last thing to do this turn is advance up our hybrids. They go to there, screaming, "Don't ignore us, come back!" And that's the end of the alien turn. We are going to start the Terminator phase by activating one of our Terminators with a Stormbolter. He is going to move into the final quadrant so we can get the last blips on the board. We are running out of turns to get this mission completed. We are going to move our Terminator to there, and he is going to open that door. Having done that, we will place the final blips. There will be some Chaos Marines in this final quadrant. Hopefully we can make short work of them. And we will place our blips like that. As I mentioned at the start of the video, I could technically hide these blips in the last room. There is no way our Terminators could get there in time and we would just play out the clock. But that's not very fun. Our blips are going to charge. We want to try and kill as many Terminators as we can before the clock runs out. And let's move up the rest of our squad. And yes, we are moving our Librarian up in the corridor, in the wide open space. He is going to face a lot of attacks, but we want to get this board clear. If we spend too long hiding behind corners, waiting for the blips to come to us, we will run out of time. As always, we begin the alien turn with 2 event cards. First of all, we have the Mothership Scan. Reveal all blip tokens on 1 board section. Well, let's do that. No surprises. Chaos Marines. And at this point I can reveal there were no android blips in the stacks for this mission. The androids were set aside. Right, let's convert these into miniatures. With that done, we draw our second event card. Orc Mechaniac. An Orc Mechaniac uses an experimental weapon. Any 1 Orc miniature may fire as though he has a Devastator. The weapon, however, blows up. Remove the Orc. Well, this is tense. This is a good chance for an Orc to kill the Librarian. But first, let's give our Marine with a missile launcher the chance. He moves to there where he now has line of sight and attacks with 2 red dice. He rolls a 1, that is not going to do it. So our Orc Mechaniac will have a go. First he opens the door, and we advance up to there and take our shot with 2 red dice. We roll a 2, again that's not going to do it, and that Orc is destroyed. It's removed from play. I guess from the alien's perspective, the only good thing there is that at least those 3 points are denied to the Space Marine player. Okay, let's advance some more Marines in. We are going to try and kill the Librarian in hand-to-hand combat. It's our last best hope. Our first Marine moves to there and rolls 2 white dice. He rolls a single success. But in retaliation, our Librarian rolls 4. That's 1 more dead Chaos Marine. Our last Chaos Marine can also get into base contact with the Librarian. It really is our last chance to take him down. He moves to there and rolls 2 white dice. And it's a double 0. This is looking like another disaster for the alien player. And indeed, we have killed another Marine. Okay, we have some Gretchen who may be able to skirt around past the Librarian and try to take out some regular Marines instead. Slightly better odds. That one gets all the way to there and rolls 1 white dice. Getting no successes. And getting punched in the face for his troubles. It's not over yet though. This Gretchen's going to try his luck. And he gets a success. Unfortunately, the Terminator gets 2. We have 1 Gretchen left. We are not going to feed him into the meat grinder just yet. He's going to move to there, and he will take a pot shot at the Librarian. 3% chance is better than no chance. But unfortunately, no chance is exactly what we got. Just the hybrids left. That one moves to there, and he's going to try and shoot one of my Terminators in the back. But he misses. And our remaining hybrid, as I said before, he could just hide and run out the clock, but he is going to try and take some wounds off of this commander. Which he does not do. Just a case of mopping up now, isn't it? So our Librarian is going to move into base contact with the missile launcher. We are going to try to take him out of commission. We roll 2 red and 2 white dice. And we have rolled absolutely nothing. Uh-oh. The Chaos Marine rolls 2 white dice. And also rolls double 0. We got a little bit cocky there. We thought we had this game sewn up. Suddenly our Librarian's life was on the line, but we have survived. Phew. Okay, next up, one of our Stormbolters is going to shoot at that hybrid behind him. He misses, but he's going to push on around the corner so he can help with that missile launcher next turn. Our next Terminator will also shoot at that hybrid. And he gets 4 successes. That is a most definite kill. We are down to just 3 aliens on the board. Let's advance our Terminator to there. And then our commander is going to shoot at this last hybrid. 1 success, that's enough. We have cleared out the hybrid threat at least. Guess we better catch up with the guys. That is the end of the Terminator's turn. We move on to the next alien phase. We are really running out of turns here. And our first event is Gretchen Bomber. Our remaining Gretchen, we have 1 left on the board. He's going to throw a frag grenade. And our second event, another Gene Stealer has come out to play. Okay, I guess the aliens are throwing everything they can at us at this point. Let's see what happens. First of all, we are going to activate our Gretchen Bomber. We will move him to there, and he is going to throw a frag grenade at the Terminator directly in front of him. He rolls 2 red dice and only gets 1 success. That's not going to do it. But now our Gene Stealer appears. We are going to pop the Gene Stealer right there next to our Librarian. It rolls 2 red dice and rolls 2 successes. Not bad. The Librarian defends. And also rolls 2 red dice. He has survived the attack, but the Gene Stealer is still very much alive. Finally, we have our missile launcher. It's going to move just to there, squeezing past the Gene Stealer and the Gretchen. Excuse me, coming through. And he is going to shoot at the Terminator furthest away. And he has rolled a 5. That Terminator takes the full force of 2 red dice, 5 damage. He is destroyed. The adjacent Terminator is hit for 3 damage. Fortunately, because of his Terminator armor, he is able to shrug that off and keep on fighting. But still, right at the end of the game, we have taken our second casualty. Another 10 points for the alien player and minus 10 points for the Space Marines. Well, here we go. There's only one thing left to do. It's the start of the Terminator phase. We have 1 Librarian power we can activate. We're going to activate it. The power is Smite. The Librarian unleashes a burst of psychic energy that affects his enemies by using their strong emotions of hate and animosity towards him. Unable to defend themselves against this awesome psychic attack, they are consumed in fire and their bones disintegrate into fine sand. Any alien models apart from Dreadnoughts within 2 squares of the Librarian, that's actually incorrect, it means adjacent to the Librarian, are destroyed. Dreadnoughts lose 1 life point. A quick glance at the layout of the board should reveal just how devastating that power is for the alien player. 1 Genestealer, 1 Gretchen and 1 missile launcher are removed from the board. We have cleared the space station. We don't have to make it back to the dock and claw to complete this mission. However, it isn't clear whether we need to complete our turn and then also complete the next alien turn. I think we may as well, just to make sure we aren't cheating. We're going to regroup, like so, and then we will play 1 last alien turn, drawing 2 alien event cards. And the first event is Lure of Chaos. Choose 1 Marine miniature, not a commander, and roll 1 heavy weapons die. If you roll a 3, replace the figure with a Chaos Space Marine if available. Well, we only have 1 regular Marine left. He is the target of this Lure of Chaos. Let's see how this works out. We've rolled a 3. Wow. Okay, we're going to need to do some on-the-fly rules writing here, because obviously Lure of Chaos assumes you are playing with normal Space Marines. But we are obviously playing with Terminators, so we haven't just made a regular Chaos Marine here, we have made a Chaos Terminator. I will swap him out with the Chaos Commander figure, just for ease of visualization of what's going on, but he is going to retain all of his Terminator stats, so he is rolling a red and white dice in attack and defense and has an armor class of 3. Also, it doesn't say on this event card whether the alien player scores points for converting a Space Marine in this way as if they had killed the Space Marine. I'm going to say they do. So that's another 10 points for the alien player and a loss of 10 points for the Terminators. And our second event is Master Controls. You may open or close as many doors on the board as you wish. But we're not going to worry about that, we're just going to try to punch this Librarian in the face with our new Chaos Power Fist. We move to there and we roll a red and a white. 1 success. The Librarian retaliates and rolls 3. So easy come, easy go. We have taken out the Chaos Terminator. And that means at the end of that alien phase, there are no aliens on the board, there are no blips waiting to come out. We have completely cleared this space station, and we will win the primary objective. That's an additional 30 victory points. And there we have it, we are done. That is the second mission in our 5-part campaign Renegade, and another pretty conclusive win for the Terminators. We secured the primary mission and the secondary mission and killed a whole bunch of aliens. In total, we scored 185 points. However, we do need to deduct points for our losses. We lost 2 regular Terminators at 10 points each and a Flamer unit for 15 points. When we take that away from our score of 185, that leaves us with 150 points, still a very conclusive victory. For winning, we are immediately promoted to Lieutenant Seniores, and also because of our exceptional score, we get 3 honour badges. That gives us a total of 4 honour badges, and we have a choice there. We can either cash in all 4 of those honour badges to be promoted another level, or we can hold on to those honour badges and cash in 2 of them to have a Librarian again in our next mission. A bridge to be crossed at another time. It should also be noted that because we did lose some Terminators, the alien player scored 35 points. According to the Alien Combat Effectiveness table, this is an acceptable performance, and the alien player is awarded 1 Mark of Chaos. That Mark of Chaos allows them to draw 1 extra random reinforcement token at the start of the next mission. In terms of the campaign as a whole, the alien player is yet to score any victory points. The Terminator player has scored 23 victory points. That is 10 points for completing the primary objective in the first mission, 10 points for completing the primary objective in the second mission, and an additional 3 points for completing the secondary objective in our second mission. We need 35 victory points total to win the campaign. Our Mission 3 objective states, the alien cargo transport must be captured to allow us to mount our sneak attack on Gorinum asteroid base. The primary mission token will be won by the Space Marine player who scores the most points after all blip and reinforcement tokens have been claimed. But I'm going to make some changes here to liven things up a bit because I am playing the game solo. First of all, I am changing that objective. I have sliced the event deck in half. Normally there are 28 cards, now there are only 14. I have to clear out all of the aliens from this base before I run out of event cards. If I succeed in that, I will get the primary mission token. If I fail, the alien player will get the primary mission token. Furthermore, there is a secondary mission which would normally only trigger if you draw the secondary mission card from the event deck. I am instigating the secondary mission from the very start, which brings into play 4 special super-powered androids. I will score the secondary mission if I destroy all 4 of those androids. And those androids will be coming in as reinforcement tokens throughout the game. The only other thing to be aware of is I have divided all of the blips for this particular mission into 4 equal piles, and I have allocated 1 pile to each quadrant of the board. In terms of my squad, I am of course bringing Terminators, and my leader is now a Lieutenant Senioris, which means he gets to bring along 3 order cards. I have selected Move It, which will allow my Marines to move twice, Fire, which will allow my Marines to fire twice, and Bisections, which will allow each of my Marines to choose to either move twice or fire twice. Furthermore, at the beginning of this mission I had 4 honour badges. I have chosen to spend 2 of those honour badges to bring along a Librarian. I now have a proper Librarian miniature thanks to viewer John Stanwicks who sent this to me. I do need to repaint him at some point, but for now he is yellow. He is bringing along Smite, Burst of Speed, Teleport and Hellfire for his 4 psychic abilities. I will go through those as and when we use them. After purchasing my Librarian, I have 2 honour badges remaining, which means I am allowed to take 2 equipment cards. I am going to take the Medikit for my commander, and I am going to take some blind grenades which will protect my squad if they get overwhelmed by enemies. I think that just about does it for the preamble, so we can start turn 1, and we begin by activating our Terminators. Terminators have a movement of 4. I'm going to start by activating one of my regular Terminators armed with a Stormbolter. He's going to move 3 spaces to there and then open the door. Opening the door is a free action. And then I think I will push forwards into the corridor beyond. I might normally try to find some cover because we are about to reveal some blip locations, but we are against the clock this time. So we finish our move there, and because we have entered a previously unexplored sector of the board, we have to place some blips. And I think our aliens were expecting an attack because they have prepared an ambush. They are all lined up behind the doorways. So for now, let's just push forwards with the rest of our squad. Our other Stormbolter Marine will move to there, opening the door that was next to him on the way. The rest of the squad follows, like so, with the Commander in the middle and the Heavy Flamer and the Librarian at the back. That completes turn 1 for the Terminators, so we begin the first alien phase by drawing our first event card. We have the card Suicide Android. Any one android may self-destruct after moving. Roll 2 heavy weapons dice. Each miniature adjacent to the android is attacked with the total of the 2 dice. This is actually a really good card for us because there are no androids in the blip stack. The only androids are coming in as reinforcements, and we do not have any reinforcements on the board yet. So that's a really good start. Let's see if our good luck continues as the aliens advance. First, this group directly in front of us will open the door. Let's see what we can see. It's a couple of Gretchen. So first, the Gretchen on the left will take a shot at the Terminator directly in front of him, rolling 2 white dice, needing 4 successes for a kill. And that's a 00, which is not going to do it. So that Gretchen is now just going to run out of the way. If he hides behind that piece of debris, no one can target him. Our second Gretchen shoots. Again, we will target the Terminator directly in front of us, and we need 4 successes. And again, that is not going to cut it. Let's just get that Gretchen out of the way for now. He will move 5 spaces down to there. Let's bring some more blips into play. This one advances to there and reveals another Gretchen. And I think that Gretchen will use a few more points of movement to back up a little way and then take a shot. So from there, needing 4 successes. And that's halfway there, but not good enough. Let's keep on going. Another blip. Another Gretchen. Now, as an alien player, we need to be very aware of the Terminator's Heavy Flamer, which has an area of effect of 9 squares, so we really don't want to bunch up. So our Gretchen is going to move a couple of spaces, just to there, and then take a shot. And it's a big fat nothing. Never mind, remember, it isn't just a matter of trying to kill these Terminators, we really just want to slow them down. Slow them down for long enough and they will fail their primary mission. Okay, let's open the door on the right, and from there our Terminator does have line of sight on the angle to the first blip on the left, which is another Gretchen. He is going to take his shot from there at the Terminator that spied him, and he rolled 2 successes. Having done that, he's going to retreat a little way. In fact, he's going to retreat all the way into the next sector of the board. We will activate our next blip. It moves 1 space to there and reveals. And it's yet another Gretchen. Where are all my orc boys at? Well, he is going to remain there and take a shot. He rolled a 3. That pings off the Terminator's helmet. That would have been incredibly embarrassing if we had lost one of our Terminators to Gretchen fire in the first turn of the game. One last blip to activate, it opens the door. And from there, one of my Terminators does have eyes on it, so it reveals. Yet another Gretchen! Some of the later sectors of the board are going to be rough to deal with. But anyway, our Gretchen shoots his shot. And he rolls a 3 as well. This is getting a little too close for comfort. But it's still a miss, so he is going to duck back out of sight. And that wraps up the alien player's turn apart from the reinforcement phase. As I mentioned earlier, I have 4 special android blips that I can bring into play during the reinforcement phase if I choose to. But the reinforcement zones are quite a long way away at the moment, so I'm not going to do that just yet. However, I am reminded that the Chaos player in this playthrough has 1 mark of Chaos, and that means at the start of the game the Chaos player is allowed to randomly draw 1 extra reinforcement blip. So let's just do that now and see what we get. It's an orc. We're not going to play that yet, we will save that for later. I guess it's time to start clearing house. First, my leading Terminator on the left is going to shoot diagonally across the corridor at the Gretchen in the top right corner. For a Stormbolter, we roll 1 red and 1 white dice. A single success is enough for a kill. 2 successes, we obliterate our first Gretchen. And we get 2 victory points for that kill. And now we move. We are going all the way to there, we cannot afford to stand still. Next, our leading Terminator on the right will shoot at the Gretchen visible to him in the corridor. That's 3. Another 2 easy victory points, and we must keep moving. Next, our commander will shoot the Gretchen directly in front of him. He rolls 2 red dice. And rolls a 3, that's another kill. That takes us up to 6 victory points, we are not messing about today. Next we will activate our Flamer, and the sneaky Gretchen that hid behind the debris thought he was being oh so clever, but the good thing about a Flamer is you can target an empty square, and all of the adjacent squares are hit for 2 red dice of damage, so that Gretchen is not safe from me. And yet somehow he survives being immolated. That's our first miss of the day, and it comes from my heavy Flamer. That's disappointing. Never mind, we carry on. Just our librarian to go, he will advance to the T-junction, and then he will shoot that Gretchen in the far right. And he rolls a 3, so that's another kill. We're back on form. Not a bad start. We hit 4 or 5 times and we gained 8 victory points. Unfortunately, that is the end of the turn. So we start the alien player's turn by drawing another event card. Oh boy, it's a Gene Stealer, and I know exactly where I'm going to drop that. That Gene Stealer drops from the rafters directly onto the librarian, and it will get to attack this turn. But let's do that combat in a moment. First, the Gretchen on the left is going to pop at that Terminator in the doorway in front of him with 2 white dice. It's a miss, so he's gonna run. Sadly for him, he cannot run far enough to get around the corner and out of line of sight. Next, our Gretchen that survived the heavy Flamer is going to pop out around the corner, and from there he's going to take a shot at my heavy Flamer. It's a 3! It's another really close call for the Terminators, but we have survived. You will recall there is also a tricksy little Gretchen up in the top right hiding around behind the wall. He is also going to advance down to take a shot at the heavy Flamer. It's 2 movement points to the door, which he then opens. And then if he just moves to there, he can get eyes on the Terminator on the diagonal. And he completely misses. We have just one thing left to do this turn. Our Gene Stealer attacks the Librarian, rolling 2 red dice. And rolls double 0! That's really bad for the alien player. Okay, the Librarian rolls 2 red and 2 white dice. And it should be noted, in hand-to-hand combat, armor is ignored. You simply compare the 2 dice rolls and the amount of damage you inflict is the difference between the highest and lowest roll. That means a single success here will kill the Gene Stealer. And he gets 3 successes. It's a big hit. The Gene Stealer, overconfident, drops down and learns you do not want to get on the wrong end of a force axe. Darn. Gene Stealers are actually one of the best ways to kill a Librarian. But maybe I should have gone for the Heavy Flamer instead. Whatever, a pretty poor alien player turn there. We need to move on to our new Terminator phase. At least killing a Gene Stealer doesn't grant the Space Marines any victory points. At the start of our new Terminator phase, our lead Terminator is going to take a shot at that Gretchen. 1 success will do it. And that's a 3, so that's an easy kill for our Terminator. And another 2 victory points for us. The Terminator will then advance into the next sector of the board. We need to keep moving, we need to reveal more blips. My brave little blue boy, what have you discovered? Lots of places to hide on this sector of the board. Is our Terminator in trouble? All of the aliens are once again hiding directly behind the doors because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We now continue with our Terminator turn. And it's bad news bears for these Gretchen because again, we do not have to target an alien with our Heavy Flamer. We can target an empty space, and we're going to target the space directly between them. And that means we have the potential to get a 2-for-1 deal on Barbecued Gretchen today. And indeed we do, 2 successes, 2 kills. And that means we can now focus on the next sector of the board. So our Heavy Flamer advances 4 squares. Our second Stormbolter will advance to there. Our Commander and our Librarian are going to take the more scenic route because I don't want all my Terminators to get jammed up in a single corridor. So Commander goes south to there, and the Librarian will also follow and actually has an opportunity to reveal this blip in the lower left corner. Let's see what we have found. Ooh, it's a sneaky Chaos Marine. Naturally, I'm going to take a shot at him with my Stormbolter. Chaos Marines have an armor class of 2, so I actually need 3 successes for a kill. And I get 4. I am absolutely on a roll today. Easy come, easy go, that's 5 victory points for me. But again, that brings us to the end of the Terminator player's turn, so we begin the next alien event phase. And we have drawn Master Controls. You may open or close as many doors on the board as you wish. This is completely pointless. I'm not even going to worry about it. Time to start revealing some blips. Let's open the doorway directly in front of our Terminators. At this point, 2 would be visible. And now we're cooking. We've got our first Orc. Now, while Orcs do have ranged weapons, they are no better at shooting than the Gretchen are. So when it comes to killing Terminators, their best chance really is to go wah. He charges down the corridor and rolls 2 white dice in melee. And he's rolled 2, that's a good hit. In retaliation, our Terminator rolls 1 red and 1 white dice. They need 2 successes to draw, 3 successes to win. And they rolled a 4, that was a really big roll. There was a very good chance of a Terminator going down there, but we pulled it out of the bag. We have smashed the greenskin. That's 3 more victory points, and I have to wonder how much longer my luck will hold out. Okay, we're going to activate our Gretchen. Our Gretchen is going to be sneaky. A regular Terminator has an armor class of 3 and 1 hit point. A Librarian has an armor class of 3 and 1 hit point. So our lowly Gretchen, who has very little chance of killing anything anyway, has as much chance of killing the Librarian as he has of killing a normal Terminator. So we may as well aim for the stars. 2 movement points here and we open the door. We will advance into the room just to keep the corridor clear. And then we roll our 2 white dice. 4 successes will kill the Librarian. And we get just a 1. It was worth a shot. Let's activate some more of these blips. 1 movement point to there and we reveal. It's just a Gretchen. But we do have enough movement points to go down and take another crack at that Librarian. So let's do that. So we move to there and we roll our 2 white dice. Another 1. Our next blip. 2 spaces to there to reveal, and it's another orc. He has 4 movement points left, you know what that means. 2 white dice to attack, and he rolls a double 0. Our Termi rolls a red and a white, needing a single success for the kill. He also rolls double 0, it's a standoff. We still have 2 blips left to activate. We will start by activating the blip on the right. We will open the door. Now the way line of sight works in this game is miniatures will block line of sight for the purposes of shooting, but they do not block line of sight for the purposes of revealing blips. And that means the Terminator on the left in the corridor now has eyes on the blip that is furthest away from him. So we will reveal that now. And it is a Chaos Marine with a missile launcher. Interesting development. But before we do anything with him, we will continue activating our blip on the right. It moves 1 space into the corridor and reveals, and it is just a regular Chaos Marine. Although Chaos Marines are tougher than an orc when it comes to taking damage, when it comes to dishing it out, they are no stronger. So our best plan of action here will be to charge into melee with our Chaos Marine. He rolls 2 white dice to attack, and gets 2 successes, that's pretty good. Our Terminator rolls a red and a white in defense and requires 3 to win. And he gets 3! That is incredible. My Terminators are leading a blessed existence right now. There are numerous times when they could easily have died. But there goes another Chaos Marine, and that's another 5 points for us. Oh, to heck with it, the Chaos Marine is going to move into the corridor and shoot at the Terminator. He has a good chance of killing his own orc. But at least if he does that, he will be denying the Terminators 3 victory points. The way the missile launcher works is I will roll 2 red dice. The Terminator that I have targeted will take the full damage from both of those red dice combined. All of the surrounding squares will take damage equal to the highest of the 2 dice rolls. And I've rolled 2, so that is not enough to kill a Terminator, but it is enough to kill that orc. Sorry bud, really I am. But like I said, at least that is denying the Space Marines 3 victory points. And while he goes off to join the Great War in the sky, we will start a new Terminator turn. Let's start by activating our commander. He's going to advance as far as he can and shoot the closest Gretchen. 2 red dice for this. And he rolls double 0, that's a big whiff. Never mind, the Librarian's going to come in and have a go as well. 1 red and 1 white dice at the closest Gretchen. And he has also whiffed. You know, at the start of this turn I did think to myself, maybe the Librarian should use a special ability on the Gretchen, but then I thought, no, I'll save it for when I meet some more orcs. Probably should have just done it. The first of our lead Terminators is going to shoot at the Chaos Marine with the missile launcher, requiring 3 successes. Nope. I guess we will just push on. Our second Terminator will also shoot at the Marine. And that's a 1, that's not going to do it either. Advance. And finally we have a Heavy Flamer. He will also shoot at the missile launcher. 2 red dice. Come on, we need 3 successes. And there it is! There is our 3. It took all of the firepower I had to bring him down, but we have killed the missile launcher. And that is one of the biggest threats of the game taken out of commission. And we get a big fat 10 victory points for that. Better not forget to advance as well. Short turn and we move on to the alien event phase. We have drawn Alien Teleporter. Any 2 alien miniatures on the board may be swapped over. Yeah. Moving on. Our lead Gretchen takes a shot at the Librarian. It's not going to be enough. It's close though. Better run, my little green friend. 6 movement to there and we open the door. And then we'll hide around the corner. Second Gretchen shoots at the Librarian. Oh, for a split second there, I thought we had it. His shot also misses. He also runs away. We'll move him to this door, which he will then open, and then he will sneak around the other side. And we are out of things to do, so it's a new Terminator phase. And we are going to start this turn by using a psychic power. We are going to use Teleport. We can immediately move our Librarian to any other space in the same board section. So we are going here. And unlike most other psychic abilities, after teleporting, we still get to take a turn with our Librarian, so he is going to shoot at that Gretchen. And again he misses. Our Librarian is having an off day. Never mind, we will carry on. We will activate one of our Terminators with a Stormbolter. He's going to move one space to the door. Of course, he will open that door. He will then advance, and he will take a shot at that Gretchen. He gets a 2, which is a kill. That is 2 more victory points and 1 step closer to clearing out all of these aliens. Our other Terminator with a Stormbolter is going to advance to the door. He is not going to move into the new board section just yet. My Marines are a little too spread out for that. But we will be ready on our next turn. Next up, it's bad news for our Gretchen who tried to hide, because again our Heavy Flamer can make use of its area of effect attack to try to kill him. If we move to there, we have eyes on the empty space next to the Gretchen, which I will indicate with a dice. Right there. And now we can try and burn this little git. 3 successes will do it nicely. And that is our second board clear. We did make slightly hard work of it, and our commander is seriously out of position, but we are making progress. Speaking of our commander, he is going to move now, and that's the best he can do. He is well out of position. And that finishes our Terminator turn, so we draw another alien event card. Alien Task Force. Mix up the unused reinforcement tokens and then pick 2 at random to add to your reinforcement pool. This is really good because I do not have a lot of reinforcements. Oh, and it was a really good pick. We got an Orc, but we also got an Android, and of course in this mission all the androids are super special androids, and I have to kill them all to get the secondary objective. Unfortunately, that is the end of the alien player's turn. We have no aliens on the board. I guess we better see what is waiting for us in the next board sector. So our Marine with a Stormbolter will advance. His full allocation of 4 movement points will get him to the door, which he can open. And as that finishes his activation, we better place some blips. Looks like a trap to me. Never mind. Let's advance the rest of the squad. That's the end of that. Let's see what the alien event phase brings us. Alien Elite. You may pick any one alien miniature on the board. That miniature may then be used twice this turn. I don't have any alien miniatures on the board. So let's get things started by opening that door in the lower left corner of the board. And we have 2 orcs. That is probably not good news for our lead Terminator. I imagine these are brothers in a competition to see who can be the first one to crack open one of these Terminator suits. Let's see how they get on. This one charges in and rolls 2 white dice. It's a 0-0, that is not going to do it. Our Terminator rolls a red and a white, needing a single success. And there's 3. And another 3 victory points too. Let's try this again. We charge, we roll, we completely fluff, and we die. Yep, definitely brothers. This really has been a bit of a disastrous game for the alien player so far. Let's keep them coming. Advance 1 and reveal. And it's just a Gretchen. And as that Gretchen does have line of sight on the librarian, he's going to back up slightly. There will do. And he's going to shoot him. It's a 2, not good enough. Next blip. Moves to there and reveals. Hey look, they were triplets. Our Orc does have enough movement points to charge, so he will. Let's hope he does a little better than the rest of the clan did. Nope. I guess these were the 3 Stooges. And he dies like the others. Wah 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 wah. 3 more victory points for the Marines. We are running out of blips. Let's open the next door. And from there we do have eyes on the leftmost blip. It's just a Gretchen, we'll deal with him in a moment. Let's see what else we can bring to the party. The central blip advances, and reveals. It's a Chaos Marine. He may not be an Orc, but he's hung around with Orcs for long enough to know what he's supposed to do. He charges 2 white dice. And he gets a single success. Our Terminator defends. 1 to draw, 2 to win. And it's a 0-0. The Chaos Marine shows the Orcs how it's done. We have lost our first Terminator. Ouch. And that will be negative points for us at the end of the mission. Right, let's activate our last blip. That one is going to head north. 4 movement to get to the door and open it. It reveals. It's a Gretchen. He's going to back off a little and then shoot the Terminator. But it's a big miss. That's almost the end of the alien player's turn. However, before we hand play back to the Terminators, we are going to bring in some reinforcements. The room in the top left corner is a reinforcement spot where we can bring in up to 5 reinforcement tokens. And we are going to bring in as many as we can. 2 orcs, 3 androids. They've got a bit of summoning sickness at the moment, so they can't do anything this turn, but next turn, things could get ugly. We are going to start the Terminator's turn by using one of our psychic abilities. We are going to use Burst of Speed. This will allow our Librarian to activate twice in succession. So to begin with, he's going to move 4 spaces, and he is going to attack this Marine in hand-to-hand combat. He rolls 2 red and 2 white dice, so hopefully more than enough to take down this enemy. He's rolled 3, that's not too bad, could have been better though. Our Chaos Marine rolls 2, that is not enough, he dies. That is 5 more victory points for us, and I believe the only Chaos Marine left in play now is the Chaos Commander. Now our Librarian takes his second turn, he is going to shoot the Gretchen he can see from there, killing him with ease. That's 2 more victory points, and he can now move. Next, our Heavy Flamer will activate, he's going to move 4 spaces, and from there he can target an empty space adjacent to those 2 Gretchen. He has a chance of killing them both, which he does. We are taking out the trash like it's garbage day, and that is 4 more victory points. Our commander is still playing catch up, and our final Terminator will advance to the corner. It's the new alien event phase, and we have got Psychic Attack. The mothership channels a psychic attack onto the alien vessel. The Gretchen and the orcs are affected and may not move or fire this turn. Nice. Shame we can't do anything about those androids. Speaking of which, they're going to start doing their thing. We will open the door to the south, and we're going to start spilling out into the corridor to cause a ruckus. Now, normally, androids only move 4 spaces, and that is why I placed my Terminator right on the corner, because I worked out that the androids would not be able to get in line of sight of that Terminator. However, I forgot, these are special androids, they are super duper powerful, and they have a movement of 5. So, this could be bad, because a movement of 5 does bring that android into line of sight, and these super powerful androids shoot with 1 heavy weapon dice and 2 light weapon dice. There is a good chance this Terminator could die. But we're okay, for now. We'll move 1 to there, and we will move 1 to there, but we will keep the door closed. All that's left is the reinforcement phase. I actually have 2 more reinforcement tokens. They're both androids, but I cannot have more than 4 androids on the board at once, so I may as well just spawn an additional 1. That's pretty scary, isn't it? At the start of the new Terminator phase, we are going to begin by playing an order. We are going to play Move It, which will allow my Marine miniatures to move twice. And I'm going to start by activating my Flamer unit and moving him twice. He will go 4 movement points to there, then 3 movement points to the door, which he will open. He will then use his final movement point to back off 1 space, and then he's going to drop a Flamer shot directly between those 2 androids. These androids have an armor value of 2, so I need 3 successes to kill them. Ah, only 2. They both shrug off the attack. Next up, my Terminator at the top of the board is going to shoot at the android. And he gets 4, that is a success, that's a kill. Yikes, that's another 10 victory points for the Marines. Our commander better trot along as well. And for anybody who is new to my Space Crusade playthroughs, my commanders do not benefit from the orders that affect Marines. So he only gets a single movement, which isn't enough to get eyes on any enemies. And now we activate our Librarian, again a character who will not benefit from that order card. And he's playing risky. His best chance of taking down an android is to engage it in hand-to-hand combat. He rolls 2 red and 2 white dice, scoring 3. That could be better because androids roll 2 red dice. But it rolls a double 0, so our Librarian, true to form, takes down another enemy. 10 more victory points in the bag. That's the end of our activations, but before we end our turn, we are going to use our blind grenades. When we play this card, the alien player may not attack any of my miniatures on their next turn. We've got some tough enemies on the board, we don't want to risk it. And now we draw an alien event card. And we have drawn Frenzy. Any one Gretchen or Orc may attack twice in hand-to-hand combat this turn. Well, as none of the Orc will be allowed to attack anyway, that card is wasted. But as the aliens can't really attack or anything, I guess they're just going to move into position for next turn. The orcs are going to head north, the android is going to take cover best it can, and the other android will wander north as well. And that is the end of that. Let's start by activating our flamer. He is going to target the empty space adjacent to the android that is hiding behind the debris. 2 red dice, needing 3 successes. And we get nothing. Never mind, let's move out the way. Next we will activate the Terminator that has eyes on the android in the corridor. He is going to shoot. And he has missed as well, that's not great. Next up, our Librarian. He's going to move to there and shoot the android as well. He only gets a 1. Finally, our Commander gives chase. That didn't go very well at all. Let's draw an alien event card. It's a Gretchen bomber! Any one Gretchen may throw a frag grenade instead of firing. The frag grenade attacks in the same way as a launcher. No Gretchen on the board, so I'm not too worried about that. I am very worried about these androids though. Okay, the one in the corridor is going to attack in hand-to-hand combat with the regular Terminator. It rolls 2 red dice, so it does have the advantage here. And it rolls 3, that's a really big hit. The Terminator rolls a red and a white, needing 3 successes to survive. And gets exactly 3! It's a standoff. Phew. Our second android activates, coming in behind to attack the flamethrower. And rolls a 0-0, that is not good news for the android. Terminator retaliates. And rolls a 2, we take down another android, that is 3. That's another 10 victory points, and we are very close to completing our secondary objective of wiping out the androids now. Still, we have a couple of orcs to activate at the top of the board. The first one moves to there and opens the door, and then he's going to charge. Getting 2, that's a good hit. Terminator defends, and rolls a 2 as well. It's another standoff. There's still one more orc though. It charges in, 2 white dice, and gets a 2 again. And we roll a 3 in our defense, so we have killed that orc. We had a minor wobble there with that many androids on the board, but things are starting to turn in our favour again. And of course we get another 3 victory points. Better yet, that's the end of the alien player's turn. However, we do have 1 reinforcement token left. Let's play it, we might as well. We bring in our final android ready to attack next turn. We're going to start the new Terminator turn by using our Terminator with a Stormbolter to shoot that orc right in the face at point blank range. 1 red and 1 white dice. He gets a 0-0, that is rubbish. But regardless, he is going to press on into the next board in order to get the final blips onto the board because we are running out of turns. He moves to there. And of course we have to place our last blips out of line of sight of that Terminator. And we will do it like that. Next up, our Commander activates. He's going to engage an orc in hand-to-hand combat. So movement of 4 to there, he rolls 2 red dice. He gets a 2, not bad. The orc rolls a 1, that's not good enough, the orc is dead. Took the Commander a little while to get involved, but he got there in the end. 3 more victory points. Next, our Librarian is going to risk life and limb to take down this android in hand-to-hand combat. That's a movement of 3 to there, and he rolls 2 red and 2 white dice. And he has rolled 5, that is a really big hit. The android rolls 2 red dice, and only rolls a 2, so it is defeated. And that is another 10 victory points. Things are really going our way, and we still have to activate our Heavy Flamer, who's going to nip back around the corner and try and toast this final android. He moves to there and rolls 2 red dice. And he rolls a 3, that is enough for the kill. We have completely wiped out all 5 of the androids. We get our secondary objective, and that works out to another 10 victory points for the kill, and then 15 victory points for completing the objective. We are absolutely running away with this game. However, it is now the alien player's turn. Let's see what they can do. First we will activate this sneaky little blip that is hiding around the corner. 1 movement into the corridor, and we reveal it's an orc. And as orc's gonna orc, we charge into battle, rolling 2 white dice and scoring 0-0. My orcs have really been having an off day. Terminator retaliates. And that's a 2. More than enough for a kill. That's another 3 victory points in the bag, and I think the alien player should be feeling ashamed of themselves by now. Oh, hold on. I am the alien player. Still, more blips to activate. The other one in that room advances. And I think as soon as it gets to there, it is in line of sight. So we reveal the blip. Another orc. I wonder what it's gonna do. If you said sit down and discuss things in a civil manner, you're wrong. He's gonna wah. In he goes. Will he die? Nobody knows. 2 hits. Terminator retaliates. And also gets 2. It's a standoff. Let's keep the blips coming. Those 2 at the top of the board are going to activate. First, the one on the right will open the door. It's going to move into line of sight. Just about there. And reveal. It's another orc. Come and join the party. He has more than enough movement to get into combat. He's actually going to move there. And we roll 2 white dice. Getting a 1. And the Terminator rolls 00. The mass of greenskins has finally paid off. A Terminator goes down. We have lost both of our regular Marines. But is it too little too late from the alien player? More blippage. That blip just moves to the corner. The remaining 3 blips will all advance. First by opening the door, and then moving into the corridor in such a way as they will not be revealed. Something like that should do it. The scary thing is, one of these 4 blips is a dreadnought. But there is more bad news ahead for the alien player, because my librarian has an ability called Hellfire, and he's going to use that at the start of this turn. Hellfire is an area of effect ability. All orcs and Gretchens within a 9 square area are immediately destroyed. Naturally, we're going to drop that right next to these 2 orcs that are waiting for us on the other side of the door. Bye bye. In 40k, justice is swift and brutal. That's 6 more victory points. But that is all our librarian can do this turn. So next we activate our heavy flamer. He's going to move 4 spaces, and from there he can target the empty space adjacent to that blip. So we roll our 2 red dice. It's 4, that's a really big hit. We have to reveal the blip to see what is there. It is the Dreadnought. Basically, the only thing in the game that could have survived a strength 4 attack. So there is our Dreadnought, no damage inflicted. Let's get our commander involved in the action. He's going to stand there to protect the heavy flamer. We draw our alien event card, and it's Mech Assault. All the androids and the Dreadnought may move up to twice their normal move this turn, as well as attacking. Well, let's activate our Dreadnought, and even though the Dreadnought has lots and lots of guns, it actually has the most chance of causing damage to the commander by getting involved in hand-to-hand combat, and with a double movement it can get into base contact with that commander. It rolls 2 red and 2 white dice. The alien player just needs to go back to bed at this point. That is all 0s across the board. The commander retaliates with 2 red dice. He has the ability here to one-shot the Dreadnought. And he does. He rolls a 4. A 1 would have taken one of the Dreadnought's guns, a 2 would have taken both, 3 would have destroyed it, 4 is just taking the mickey. The commander may not have had a significant impact on the rest of this battle, but when he turns up, he turns up. Absolutely awful from the alien player. It was kind of an all or nothing thing to do. Yeah, let's activate these last 3 blips, but it looks like it is all over, and the Terminators are going to easily and comfortably win this game. What's our first blip? It moves to there and reveals. It's a Gretchen! Okay, let's just go for it. We are going to attack the heavy flamer in hand-to-hand combat with our Gretchen. He rolls 1 white dice. And it's a 0. Flamer rolls a red and a white. And it's a 2. Not surprising. That's 2 more victory points, but as we just picked up 25 for killing the Dreadnought, doesn't seem relevant at this point. Next blip. 2 movement to there and reveals another Gretchen. So I guess that last blip is going to be our Chaos Marine commander. Come on then, Gretchen. Attack the heavy flamer. Let's see what you can do. It's a 1. Heavy flamer defends. Oh, that heavy flamer just got killed by a Gretchen in hand-to-hand combat. Yikes. Well, I know who my man of the match is for the alien players. Let's activate our final blip. 4 movement to there to reveal. And it is the Chaos Commander. We may as well just take a pot shot at the Commander, see if we can at least take a few wounds off him. But we roll a 00, which sums up the alien player's luck today. Right, it's the Space Marine's turn. We'll activate the Librarian first. He's going to go and introduce that Commander to his Force Axe. He rolls 2 red and 2 white dice. And he has rolled 6. There is no way the Commander can defend against that because the Commander only rolls 2 white dice in hand-to-hand combat, so that is a very definitive kill. And another 10 victory points for the Marines. And now the Commander will activate. He will engage the Gretchen in hand-to-hand combat. He rolls 2 red dice. Yeah, he's rolled 5. He was very, very annoyed with this Gretchen, as he has to scrape his friend with the heavy flamer off the pavement. So, yeah, that Gretchen is very, very dead. And as that Gretchen dies, so too does any chance of the alien player lasting out for the remainder of the turns in order to win that primary objective. There were 4 alien player turns left. Maybe if the Dreadnought hadn't rushed into hand-to-hand combat, if it had decided to stand back and shoot, if one of the Gretchens had been a little bit more cautious and hidden for a bit, then maybe they could have lasted out those last turns, but it didn't seem very likely. And also, on these time-based missions, I don't like to be silly with the aliens and have them running away and hiding all the time, because they could very easily outpace the Terminators and stay in hiding and just play out the clock, but that would be boring. It's much more interesting to see a little Gretchen punch a Terminator with a heavy flamer to death. But there we go, I guess it's time to tot up the points. A very conclusive win for the Terminators today. I really do regret charging into combat with that Dreadnought. I maybe could have concentrated all the firepower on the Librarian and killed him, and then if the Marine Commander was alone, maybe he wouldn't have been able to kill enough aliens before the clock ran out. But hindsight is 2020. Let's look at the points. For killing everything they met, the Marines score 165 points, and then they picked up 15 points for the secondary mission and 30 points for the primary mission, a massive total of 210. However, they lost 2 regular Terminators and a heavy flamer, which means we reduced that score by 35 for a grand total of 175 points. We are automatically promoted for winning, which gives us the rank of Captain Primus, and we get 3 honour badges to add to the 2 we already have. We can spend 2 of those for a Librarian in the next game if we want to. Meanwhile, the alien player scored 35 points, which is an acceptable performance, earning them a single mark of chaos. They now have 2 marks of chaos, which means they will get 2 bonus reinforcement tokens in the next game. Let's hope they make better use of them than they did in this mission. In terms of the overall Renegade campaign, the Marines score another 10 points for the primary mission and 3 points for the secondary mission, giving them a grand total of 36. They only needed 35 to win the whole campaign, so technically they've already done it and this campaign is in the bag. But we are going to play out the final 2 missions to conclude the narrative and see if we can hunt down that pesky Genestealer hybrid. So let's start by reading our objective for Mission 4. Mission HT-AF-004, Sector Beta Magellan Primary Assault. Using the cargo shuttle, a small force will penetrate Gorinium and destroy all outer defences. Initial scans indicate that there are large concentrations of heavy armour present. The primary mission token will be won by the Space Marine player who gains the most points from Android and Dreadnought blip tokens, including reinforcements. And for this mission we will be using all of the blip tokens and 4 Android reinforcement tokens. That all seems simple enough, but we do have to make a small adjustment to this mission to make it work for solo play. Rather than awarding the primary objective to the Marine player who kills the most mechanical foes, our squad will gain the objective if they kill 8 androids, that's the 4 from the blips and the 4 from the reinforcements, plus the Dreadnought before time runs out. For a timer we're going to use the Alien event deck. When it runs out, the Terminators lose, but to add some pressure I'm going to draw 2 events per alien turn. There is a secondary mission that will come into play if we draw the secondary event card from the alien deck. We'll cover rules for that as it happens. For our squad, I'm taking a commander, a heavy flamer and 2 grunts with stormbolters, and then I'm going to spend 2 of my honour badges to bring along a librarian, as they can normally do some serious damage. For my librarian's psychic powers, I'm taking lightning arc, as it can rack up a lot of kills, teleport so I can quickly move the librarian if he gets out of position, burst of speed so he can move twice and attack twice in one turn, and smite because it's pretty brutal. With 3 honour badges to my name, I would normally be allowed 7 equipment cards, but I have to give up 4 pieces of equipment for my Terminator armour, leaving me with 3. I am taking digital weapons to give my commander a reroll in melee or ranged combat, a medipack so my commander can recover wounds, and blind grenades to prevent enemies from attacking for 1 turn. Finally, I have to pick orders. As a Captain Primus, my commander has access to all 4 order cards. I will go through those as and when we use them. With all of that organised, we can begin. So let's get this mission started. Let's kill some aliens. We're going to start by moving one of our regular grunts 2 spaces into the room to there. He is going to open the door, and then he is going to move 1 more space into that room. Having finished his activation, we populate this first quadrant of the board with our first stack of alien blips. As always, I have divided the blips into 4 stacks. I have randomised the contents of those stacks so I do not know what is in there, and then I have grabbed one of the stacks at random, so I have no idea what aliens we're going to be facing here. And all of these blips have to be placed on this quadrant of the board out of line of sight. And just for fun, we're going to do that, 8 blips in the corridor. And now we can move the rest of our squad up. And we're going to do something like that as we prepare for the alien onslaught. That ends the first Terminator turn, so we now draw 2 alien event cards. And it is a bad start for the aliens. We have a psychic attack. The mothership channels a psychic attack onto the alien vessel. The Gretchen and orcs are affected and may not move or fire this turn. And then to make things worse, our second card is Frenzy. Any one Gretchen or orc may attack twice in hand-to-hand combat this turn. So obviously that Frenzy card cannot come into effect. With that done, we're going to move some blips. Bearing in mind any orcs or Gretchen we reveal will not be able to actually do anything. We will move the first blip to there and we will open the door. We reveal the blip, and it is indeed an orc who is just going to stand there looking dumb. Not ideal, but we are going to move up 1 more blip because we want to create a roadblock to stop these Terminators advancing. It moves to there and reveals. Oh, and that is more like it. It is an early appearance of a Chaos Marine with a missile launcher. He used 3 movement points to get into position there. He has 1 movement point remaining. He is going to back off 1 space, and then he will fire his missile launcher at the grunt standing next to our commander. The missile launcher rolls 2 heavy weapon dice. If we score at least a 4, we will kill the Terminator. And we roll only a single hit. That is not good enough. Never mind, I am going to bring 1 more blip in to plug that gap. 3 movement points to there. And this time we have a Gretchen. I think our remaining blips will just spread out slightly. Like so. The last thing we can do on our turn is bring in reinforcements if we wish to. And I think we will, because reinforcements all come onto the board on the bottom left corner. And that will immediately put our Terminators under pressure from 2 different directions. Let's bring in a few androids. Just there. And that is it for our first turn. It is time for the Terminators to react to these new threats. We're going to start by activating our librarian. He moves to there, and he is going to shoot that Gretchen with 1 red and 1 white dice. A single hit will kill it. And he rolls 3, absolutely obliterating that Gretchen. Our Terminators score their first 2 points. And now we are going to bring up our heavy flamer. He is going to stand directly in front of the librarian, and he is going to target the space between the orc and the Chaos Marine. He rolls 2 red dice and the total is inflicted on both of the targets. So we could get 2 easy kills here. But we roll 00, so that is a big whiff. Never mind, our commander is going to steam into action. He wants to take down this Chaos Marine in hand-to-hand combat. So he moves up to there, and in doing so he reveals some more blips.
A whisk, a tin opener, and a spatula.
A Gretchen, an orc, and an android. Well, that's a little concerning. Okay, our commander is going to continue moving just to make a bit of room. He's going to stand in there and then he is going to attack the Chaos Marine. He rolls 2 red dice. He has rolled a 3, but because our commander has digital weapons, we are allowed to re-roll that 0. It's still a 0, but 3 is good. The Chaos Marine rolls 2 white dice in defense, scoring double 0, so he is absolutely mauled. Today our commander plans to take no prisoners, and that is another 10 victory points. Next we're going to bring up this straggler on the far left of the board. He's going to try and take down this orc for us. He goes to there and shoots with 1 red and 1 white dice, scoring 2, which is enough for a kill. 3 more victory points in the bag. And our final Terminator is going to try and take down this android. He moves to there for a clean shot, and he rolls 1 red and 1 white dice. And it's a double 0. And that could be a problem. Androids are tough. The android is also very well positioned to take down my heavy flamer in hand-to-hand combat. I could play my blind grenades, but we are still very early in the game. So I think we might be better off just waiting a little bit. And that means it's the alien player's turn and we draw 2 event cards. First of all, we have a Gretchen bomber. Any one Gretchen may throw a frag grenade instead of firing. This works in the same way as a missile launcher. And then we have Mech Assault. All the androids and the dreadnought may move up to twice their normal move this turn, as well as attacking. Well, I guess first things first, let's attack the heavy flamer with our android. Androids roll 2 red dice. And it's a 4, that's a really big hit. This could be very early doors for the heavy flamer, who only rolls 1 red and 1 white dice. And we only score a 2, so the heavy flamer is immediately taken out of action. This is a huge loss for the Terminators. Remember, we are playing against the clock, and the heavy flamer was our best chance of killing large groups of enemies at once. Not to mention that has cost the Terminators 15 victory points. Very, very bad start. Guess I should have used those blind grenades after all. Next up we have our Gretchen bomber, who has a movement of 8. He is going to scurry around and try to blow up the librarian. 2 red dice, anything above a 3 is a kill. And that is a 4. This is absolute disaster for the Terminators. We have lost our heavy flamer and our librarian in the second alien turn. And to add insult to injury, the librarian lost his life to a Gretchen. If you have watched my other Space Crusade playthroughs, then you will know that you should never underestimate a Gretchen bomber. Really, really regretting not playing those blind grenades. And it's not over yet, we still have an orc to activate. He is going to charge down there and engage that Terminator in hand-to-hand combat. He rolls 2 white dice. And he scored a 2, that's not bad. Terminators roll a red and a white. Oh my goodness. I don't know what to say, I don't know what has happened. This orc has just punched a Terminator to death. This is absolutely absurd. At this point it looks like our commander's going to be doing a solo run, and he is never going to have enough killing power to wipe the board before we run out of time. And we've still got blips to activate. We will move that one to there and he will reveal. That is a Gretchen. He has 6 movement points remaining, so he might as well go around and try to take a shot at the remaining Terminator grunt. He rolls 2 white dice and he needs a 4. Double 0. That's more what I expect from the Gretchen. Our final blip, 2 movement to there, and it is an orc. He has 4 movement points left, just enough to charge into combat with that grunt. 2 white dice. Double 0. Our beleaguered Terminator retaliates and scores a 4. That's more like it, we kill the orc. This is where we make our comeback. Meanwhile, over here, our androids make a double move. 4 to the door and opens it, and then another 4. And his little buddy follows, like so. I could bring in more reinforcements again, but I don't think I will at the moment. The Terminators have had a bad time already. Let's wait, hold some reserves back, and see if we can really destroy them later on. Well, as tempting as it would be to flee immediately, to return to the airlock and get out of dodge, that is not on the cards for these Terminators. Because, at the moment, we are in the hole for quite a few victory points, and if we leave now, our commander will be so ashamed he will return by himself and sacrifice his life in an attempt to atone for such a terrible failure. So before we can even think about leaving, we have to clear out more aliens, we have to score some victory points. So let's start killing some stuff. First, our Terminator Grunt is going to shoot the Orc directly in front of him, as he is one of the biggest threats there. And it's a miss. The Terminators are having a really bad time. In that case, he will just back up to there. That will clear the way for our commander to move into the room, and our commander is going to attack the android in hand-to-hand combat. Disco dice is a big 3, and because of our digital weapons we can reroll the 0. And that's a 2, 5 total. The android rolls 2 red in defense. Scoring just 1, we have destroyed the android. We have taken our first step to recovering our honour. 10 victory points for that, not too shabby. Well, it was a short turn, but there it is. That is it. It is time for the aliens to activate. First by drawing 2 alien cards. First of all, we have out of ammo. Choose any one marine miniature armed with a heavy weapon. That miniature's weapon must be replaced with a bolter. If there is no bolter, he may only attack in hand to hand. Well, we only had one heavy weapon. It was our heavy flamer, and that guy is dead. And then we have Alien Elite. You may pick any one alien miniature on the board. That miniature may then be used twice this turn. Now that is also really bad news for the Terminators, because just off to the left, barely in shot, we have our 2 androids. One of those, if activated twice, could get into hand-to-hand combat range with our remaining grunt. So that's what we will start with. We will activate one of the androids on the left twice. First he will open the door, move 4 spaces. Fortunately he cannot see to shoot anyone from there, so he will just activate a second time. And now it's bad news bears for the Terminators. 2 red dice. It's only a single hit. The Terminator does have a good chance of surviving this. And he does, but only just. It's a draw. We may as well move up our other android. Then our Orc will charge into action. He can make it into base contact and attack with 2 white dice, scoring 1 hit. The Terminator defends. And at this point I just don't know what to do. The dice have absolutely given up on the Terminators in this game. This is a cataclysmic failure. Our commander is indeed flying solo for the rest of this mission. We have 2 Gretchen, they're both going to take a shot on the commander. They're not expecting to do anything, but they might as well. First one rolls a 2, and the second one misses completely. They're not even going to bother to move. There's no point. They are probably going to die, but I have so many aliens left to bring into play. This whole playthrough has been a horrible, horrible time for the Terminators. I'm not even going to worry about bringing in any more reinforcements at the moment. Let's see what our commander can do. He's going to move to there. 2 red dice on the android. That's a 4. I'm not even going to bother re-rolling that because that's already a really good score. The android defends and rolls double 0. That's another dead android. Commander is clearly not happy. But that's it, that's all he can do. Without a squad, without a librarian, there is just nothing else that we can do here. So the aliens draw 2 event cards. Apparently today it's all about punishing Terminators because we have spawned a Gene Stealer. We'll pop that right there. And then we have redeploy. You may place up to 3 blip tokens onto a board that has already been scanned. That is completely irrelevant for this playthrough, so we can just ignore it. Okay, first things first, our Orc punches the Terminator. It's a big whiff. Our commander defends, scoring 3 and outright killing the Orc. Our commander is an absolute boss, but has he got it in him to cope with all of these aliens? The Gene Stealer attacks. And that's a 3, that's a big hit. The commander defends. and scores a 4. That takes down the Gene Stealer too. We have an android to plod into play, but it cannot get into hand-to-hand combat, so it's going to have to shoot. 3 white dice from there. And it's a 000. Finally, the 2 Gretchen are going to take pot shots from where they are, and then they will run away. 1 misses, and he goes all the way up there. And then our second one also misses, and he runs to there. That ends the turn. We're going to skip reinforcements for now and go straight into the new Terminator phase. Our commander is going to shoot at the android from there. He rolls 2 red dice. He needs 3 to succeed. He has rolled a 3. That is enough to kill the android. We didn't even need the reroll from our digital weapons. And then we will move 4 spaces. Oh, if only we had a second attack. I would punch this Gretchen's head straight off. But alas, that is the end of our turn. Time to draw some more alien events, as if we need more problems. First we have auto defense. You may shoot at any 1 marine or commander miniature on a corridor square, rolling 1 heavy weapon die. That will not be able to penetrate a Terminator's armor. And then we have Orc Mechaniac, but we do not have any orcs on the board anymore, so that is also ignored. We're going to move our 2 Gretchen. The one next to the commander is going to shoot him. There is nothing in this game that says you cannot shoot things that are adjacent, so he rolls 2 white dice looking for 4. And he gets 3. He almost managed to insult the Terminator commander again by inflicting a wound on him, but he does not, so instead he's going to run away. He's going to go all the way back there. We will also activate our second Gretchen. He's just going to move to there, ready for an ambush later on. Finally, I have 2 more android reinforcements I can bring into play. Why the heck wouldn't I? They will go there, ready to cause mass destruction. The turn is over. All our commander can do is plod 4 spaces and then wait for new blips to populate. We will go to there. Nothing to see, nothing to shoot, so we end our activation and more blips spawn. I don't know, I'm suspicious this may be a trap. Our first event is Suicide Android. An android may blow up after moving. We are not going to use that. And for crying out loud, it's another Gene Stealer. I think we will pop him just there. And I guess we may as well resolve that attack first. 2 red dice. It's a 00. The commander retaliates and scores 3. That Gene Stealer dies instantly. I think it must have dropped down from the ceiling directly onto the power sword. Never mind, lots more things to kill things with. Our little Gretchen on the right is going to pop out of cover and shoot our commander in the back. 2 white dice, needing 4. I completely missed the dice tray, but I also completely missed the commander. Our second Gretchen, we will move to there and shoot. Also a miss. Our androids will advance slightly, just to there, cautiously approaching, waiting to see what the commander will do next. And then we will activate some blips. This one advances and opens the door. And then we are going to move into the commander's line of sight, just there. It is a Chaos Marine commander. He has used 4 of his 6 movement points, so he is going to back up as far as he can because he is a cowardly Chaos Marine. And then he is going to shoot with 2 red dice. It's a 3, it just pings off the Terminator's armor. And now our other blips will scurry to protect our commander. 1 moves to there, and it's another android. Luckily for the commander, an android only has a movement of 4. The blip has already moved 4 spaces. That means the android cannot advance any further into hand-to-hand combat, but will still be able to shoot. 3 white dice. And again I've missed the dice tray, but I also missed the commander. That is 3 zeros. Let's get another blip into play. We'll move that blip to there and reveal it. It's an orc. And that orc is going to advance just 1 more space to create a barricade in front of our commander. And of course it will take a shot at the Terminator, rolling 2 white dice. Disco Dice says no. And I think, apart from readjusting some of the other blips, we will leave it at that. I guess it's time for our commander to activate. Obviously, no guts, no glory, we are going to attack the android. Really, we just want to punch our way through it to get to the commander behind. We roll a 2, we can re-roll that 0 because of our digital weapons. It's still just a 2. The android also rolls 2 red dice. And they only roll a 1. That means that the commander wins again. That is one more android to add to the tally. At this point, we have atoned for the loss of all of our Marines. We have scored enough victory points to get us out of debt. But to make sure our commander does not feel so much shame he throws his life away, we must kill several more aliens before we can consider leaving. Fortunately, it looks like there are plenty of aliens here. Let's draw 2 more alien events. Master controls, you may open or close as many doors on the board as you wish. Pointless. Alien teleporter. Any 2 alien miniatures on the board may be swapped over. Now that isn't pointless. Our orc is going to swap places with one of our androids, positioning that android for an attack. It's going to move 2 spaces, and then it's going to stab the commander in the back, rolling 2 red dice. 1 success. Our commander rolls, and scores 3 and punches that android's head right off. This commander is in a very bad mood. Honestly, I don't blame him. Right, before we forget him, that sneaky little Gretchen on the right is going to shoot the commander in the back. He misses. Our Chaos Commander will shoot with 2 red dice. That's a 3. That's twice he's rolled a 3. He's then going to back up a few spaces, because he is basically a chicken. His little Gretchen chum is going to shoot the Terminator. Also misses. Next we'll bring a few more blips into play. That one moves to there. That's just a little Gretchen. He will back off a few spaces and shoot from there. Nope. Then I think I will charge into hand-to-hand combat with my orc. 2 white dice for this. And it's double nothing. The commander needs a single success, which he gets with ease. 3 more victory points for that, and we now activate the android. He moves to there and shoots with 3 white dice. And he has rolled a 4. We have finally penetrated the commander's armour. We inflict a single wound. Bolstered by that success, I think we might bring some more blips in as well. That one moves to the door and opens it, and then sneaks around the corner and reveals here. It's another Gretchen. We definitely want this Gretchen to back off a little and then shoot. There, we'll do it. 0-0. Come on, let's do another blip. That one comes out of cover and reveals. And it's an orc. And orcs are gonna wah, so he is just going to attack in hand-to-hand combat, rolling 2 white dice. And he has rolled 2, not too bad. Our commander defends. And has rolled 0-0. He does get a reroll though. And his reroll is a 2. So we have barely scraped through that combat without taking more damage. And the orc stays alive. And with that orc comfortably blocking the way, we can end the alien player's turn. Look at this smorgasbord of aliens the commander has to deal with. He is going to punch this orc directly in the face. He has rolled 2, he gets a reroll. It's 2 total. The orc defends. And only rolls a 1, so we have killed the orc. That's 3 more victory points. Then I think we may back off just a little way. Just to there. And that will finish our turn. These Terminator turns really are quick when you don't have a squad. Let's draw some alien events. The first event is Mothership Como. Read out the text for the secondary mission. It says Genestealer hybrids attacking. Large numbers of Genestealer hybrids have been detected. Find and eliminate. All hybrids must be destroyed to prevent them spreading infection. At this point we have to take the 8 orc reinforcement tokens. We can now bring those in as reinforcements in the normal way, but they each represent a Genestealer hybrid. If the Marines kill all 8 of the Genestealer hybrids, then they will score the 15 victory points for the secondary mission. That's even more aliens for the commander to kill. Unfortunately for him, he's not going to be doing that this turn because he has to report in. He cannot move or attack this turn. Well. Let's start by shooting him in the back with a Gretchen. 2. That's not going to do it. The Gretchen in front is going to shoot him, also 2 white dice. That's a miss, so that Gretchen is going to get out of the way. The Gretchen by the android is going to shoot him. Also missing, he's going to get out of the way. The Gretchen by the Chaos Commander shoots. And also misses. He's going to stay where he is. Next, our android will advance. Can't get into hand-to-hand combat, but can shoot with 3 white dice. Scoring only 2, not nearly good enough. Next, our Chaos Commander will move so he can shoot. There, looks good. He rolls 2 red dice. And he's rolled another 3. That's 3 for 3. Always close, but no cigar. Let's bring around our last 2 blips. That's 4 movement points to there, and we reveal. And oh my goodness, that is probably not what our commander wanted to see. That is the Dreadnought. Now, I've learned my lesson. If you watched my last Space Crusade playthrough, you will know I did something very silly with my Dreadnought and it ended very badly. This time my Dreadnought is going to stand exactly where it is and unload all of its weapons into the Terminator. First we have our plasma gun. It may kill the Gretchen standing behind the commander, but that's fine. We've rolled 1. That is not enough to kill the Terminator, but it does indeed kill the Gretchen. Still, that's 2 victory points the Marines aren't going to get. Next up we fire the assault cannon. 2 red dice again. This time we roll a 3, still not enough to get through that really tough Terminator armor. Then we have our bolters, that's 2 white dice. And it's 2, that's still not enough to cause any damage. And I guess that's the end of the turn. However, because the commander has picked the worst time possible to report in, he doesn't get to do anything. We immediately go back around to the alien player's turn and draw 2 more alien events. We have Equipment Malfunction. Pick 1 equipment card owned by any one Marine player. The equipment card is then lost due to malfunction. As tempting as it is to take the medikit, which will prevent the commander from healing his damage, I'm going to destroy the digital weapons, which removes the commander's rerolls. The second event is New Orders. Place this card on one of the Marine players, he may then pick 1 extra order card. At this stage that is irrelevant. And now, having done that, my android is going to attack in hand-to-hand combat. The android rolls 2 red dice, scoring just 1. The commander defends, and even without his digital weapons he absolutely mauls it. That is another 10 victory points. Next up we will activate the Dreadnought. We start with the plasma gun, 2 red dice. That's 4, that inflicts a wound. The commander is down to 4. We roll again for the assault cannon. That's a 00, that's not going to do anything. And then we roll for the bolters. And that also does nothing. I think he will advance. He's going to move forward and block that doorway to stop the commander getting through it. Just like that. That also frees up line of sight for our commander to shoot the Terminator. But he rolls 00. You're getting worse. He will back out of the way slightly, freeing up line of sight for that Gretchen, who misses, and then our other Gretchens will pop in too. First this one, who actually manages to roll a 4 and inflicts another wound on our commander. That is 3. These Gretchen are feisty. The last one comes in and shoots from there. And rolls a 4! Oh, wow! Oh my goodness, the Terminator commander is down to 2 wounds. And now I really wish I had destroyed his medikit. We have 1 more blip, it will move to there. I would say it's only a Gretchen, but the way the Gretchen have been playing in this game, that actually might be more terrifying than the Dreadnought. He shoots with 2 white dice. For a second there, I thought it was going to come up double 2s again. But no, it's just a 2, that is not enough to cause any more damage on the commander. And having done all of that, it is now the Marine player's turn, and the commander can activate this turn, and the first thing he is going to do, he is going to activate his medikit, which restores him to 6 health. Bad luck, aliens, you've got to start all over again. He is then going to shoot that Gretchen directly in front of him with 2 red dice. He rolls a 2, that is a kill. It's only 2 victory points, but I'll take what I can take at the moment. We are then going to move 4 spaces. We're going to try and make a break for the airlock. We just need to cut our losses at this point. We go to there. While brave Sir Robin beats a hasty retreat, we're going to draw 2 more alien event cards. The first is auto defense. You may shoot at any one Marine or commander, roll 1 red heavy weapon die. That is not going to do any damage. And then we have battle plan. Each Marine player picks an extra order card. That is irrelevant. So our aliens activate. First the Dreadnought is going to move. it has to try and cut off the commander at the pass. Unfortunately, it's quite slow. It gets there and stops. Then all of our Gretchen and our Chaos Commander will try to run the Terminator down. This first one moves in there and attacks with 2 white dice. Rolls a 3, nearly managed to put another wound on the commander. This one also has just enough movement to get into line of sight. 2 white dice. And misses. Everyone else advances. And you know what, at this point, I might as well spawn some Genestealer hybrids too. I'll just bring in 4 for now. It may be too late for them to affect the course of the game, but we shall see. Next up, our Terminator Commander activates. He's going to shoot one of these Gretchen. That's a kill. That's 2 more victory points, and every victory point counts at the moment. And then I move 4 spaces. And that is the end of that. We draw 2 more alien event cards. We have Booby Trap, a Marine steps on a defense charge. That is irrelevant for us. And then we have Weapons Jammed. The player may not fire any heavy weapons on their next turn. That is also irrelevant. First of all, let's activate all of our hybrids. They each move 6 spaces. We will move them up into that corridor there. We have 1 Gretchen that is still trying to run down our commander. He's going to go to there and shoot with 2 white dice. It's a fumble. Our other Gretchen's going to try and get involved, and he has just enough movement to get to the corner and can also shoot. He misses too. All that's left to move is the Dreadnought and the Chaos Commander. Our lumbering Dreadnought advances, and our Commander follows. And again, that ends the alien phase. I'm not going to worry about more reinforcements at this point. I think that isn't really going to matter at this stage. It's all going to come down to the Terminator Commander and this Dreadnought. First things first though, our Terminator Commander is going to shoot one of those Gretchen. And he misses! I guess at this stage I should not be surprised. So let's run as fast as we can, I guess. That is all we can do, so we draw 2 more alien event cards. Lure of Chaos, choose 1 Marine miniature, not a commander, and see if it becomes a Chaos Space Marine. We can ignore this because we don't have a squad. And communications malfunction, play on 1 Marine player, that Marine may not play order cards. Well, I guess we better start the alien turn by moving the Dreadnought into position. That's as far as it can get because it is not allowed to stop halfway through a door, it is just too big and chonky. Next we will move our Chaos Commander. We do not want our Chaos Commander to move into the adjacent room because that will put him at risk of being stepped on by the Terminator Commander, so he is just going to advance up and stand next to the Dreadnought, trying to look brave and important. Then we have a bunch of hybrids to advance, and a couple more Gretchen to try their luck. That Gretchen is going to shoot the commander in the back, and misses. And our last Gretchen moves to there and tries the same thing. With no more luck. It is now the Terminator's turn. We are going to start by shooting one of the Gretchen next to us, and killing it. We are then going to move 4 spaces. Yes, we are just 2 spaces away from getting off the board. And yikes, we are staring down the barrel of a Dreadnought. Fortunately, we have 1 card in our arsenal that we can play at this point. A card that perhaps I should have played in the very first turn. Blind Grenades. Play at the end of your turn. The alien player may not attack any of your miniatures on their next turn. Well, ain't that a kick in the teeth for the alien player. With that card played, I should be able to make it off the board, and even though this has been a categorical loss for the Terminators, at least my commander has survived. Now, let's draw some event cards. It's the 3rd Genestealer attack, and this actually is a problem. As our commander nears the escape point, the airlock hisses open and a Genestealer emerges. And it stands right there in front of him. Now, because I deployed those blind grenades, that Genestealer can't actually attack this turn, which is good. However, it doesn't really have to attack at the moment, it just has to block the escape route. Because if that Dreadnought now advances and blocks the other space in front of the airlock, then the only way our commander can get off the board is to punch his way through the Dreadnought or the Genestealer. If he fails to do that, he is going to face the full brunt of a large alien attack force. Let's draw our 2nd alien event card. And it is Android Fault. You may not move or fire any of the androids or the Dreadnought this turn due to a control malfunction. That means the Dreadnought cannot move, and it will not be able to position itself to block the airlock. However, that won't stop the hybrids from passing through him and taking up that role instead, but it does mean that there are much squishier targets to get through rather than the Dreadnought. So let's just move all of our enemies into the room and position them accordingly. Well, that doesn't look great, does it? So while we don't have to deal with that Dreadnought this turn, things still look pretty grim. Our commander has no choice but to take on the Genestealer in hand-to-hand combat with no rerolls. We roll to attack. 3, that's good. The Genestealer rolls. It's double 0. We punch our way through the Genestealer goes down. We do not get any victory points for that kill, but at the moment I do not mind because our commander makes a break for it, makes it into the airlock, and is alive. See you later, losers. So there we are, our commander escapes with his life, but his pride has taken a serious knock. And really, what a terrible outing for the Terminators. I think they were a bit too cocky in the opening turns, relied too much on their armour, didn't make good use of cover, and really should have used those blind grenades. But never mind, for the aliens they killed, the Termies racked up 93 points, but unfortunately they lost 2 Marines, 1 Heavy Flamer and a Librarian, which means we have to deduct 50 points from the score. They also failed to complete the primary or secondary objective. That gives them a grand total of 43, and if we consult the mission chart we are told that that is, surprisingly, a commendable performance, earning us 2 honour badges. We will be spending those in the final mission to bring along our Librarian. Things went much better for the Chaos player. They scored 50 points for killing Terminators, 30 points for denying them the primary objective, and 15 points for denying them the secondary objective. For winning, the Chaos player automatically rises from the rank of Renegade to Warrior, and then for scoring 95 points, they gain 3 marks of Chaos, which means they now have 5. They will cash in 4 of those to go up an additional level to Chaos Champion, and that means they will start the final mission with 2 alien event cards and 1 bonus reinforcement token in hand. In terms of the overall campaign, the Space Marines remain on 36 points, which is already enough to win, but the Chaos player is finally on the scoreboard with 13 points. It's too late to make a comeback, but at least they have made an appearance. It really was a bad day for the Marines, but their mission did cause enough of a distraction for another squad to make a final assault on Hermiotus in his heavily fortified hiding place. The stage has been set for an epic final battle. At this point I have played 4 of the 5 missions in the campaign, and the Terminators, despite 1 incredibly poor showing, have already accumulated enough points to win, making this final installment somewhat anticlimactic. So we are wiping the slate clean. Sort of. We are going to carry over all of our perks and benefits from previous missions, but this is going to be an all or nothing showdown. Hermiotus must be captured at all costs. He has mutated into a form of Genestealer hybrid, and he cannot be allowed to share his Imperial secrets with the enemy. A Terminator squad with a Librarian has been sent to locate him. Kill Hermiotus and the Terminators win. If the Terminators are wiped out, Hermiotus escapes and the alien player wins. No second chances, no points, this is sudden death. Thanks to previous successes, our Terminator commander has achieved the highest rank of Captain Senioris. That means he starts this mission with all 4 of his order cards: Close Assault, By Sections, Move It and Fire. Additionally, he has 5 honour badges. We are going to cash in 2 of those badges to take a Librarian, and that Librarian is going to have 4 psychic powers: Lightning Arc, Teleport, Burst of Speed and Smite. That means our Terminator squad will comprise the Commander with Power Sword and Stormbolter, the Librarian with Force Axe and Stormbolter, 1 Terminator with a Heavy Flamer and Power Fist, and 2 Terminators with Stormbolters and Power Fists. With 3 honour badges left, our Terminator squad can access 7 pieces of equipment. Normally, we would have to give up 4 of those to pay for Terminator armor, but for this final mission, the Terminator armor comes for free. That being the case, we can take a medikit and digital weapons for the commander. This gives us the ability to heal all damage once per mission, and it gives us a reroll on all close combat and ranged attacks. We will then take 2 targeters, one for the Stormbolters and one for the Heavy Flamer. And we can't leave home without some grenades. Blind grenades to prevent enemies attacking us once, and a melter bomb for any large targets we might need to deal with. Finally, we will take the bioscanner, which we can use to reveal blips on the map. That should help us locate Hermiotus quickly. For this mission, the alien player is fully loaded and ready for trouble. They get access to all blip tokens and all reinforcement tokens. But it should be noted that all Orc reinforcement tokens actually represent Genestealer hybrids. Additionally, our Chaos Marine Commander blip is not going to be a commander. It represents Hermiotus. Of course, if you have been keeping up with this campaign, unlike me, you will know the alien player had a much better time of it in Mission 4 and earned some perks too. The alien player is now a Champion of Chaos, which means they will get to draw 2 alien event cards at the start of the game. They can play these on their turn instead of drawing a card from the deck. The cards we have drawn are Psychic Attack and Alien Task Force. Neither of these cards are going to be useful in this game, but at least we have removed them from the deck, which means we won't draw them at a bad time. Additionally, the alien player has 1 Mark of Chaos, which means they should have 1 extra reinforcement token for the mission. However, as we are using every single reinforcement token anyway, we ignore this rule. And that means we are just about ready. Now, as I am playing solo, we have to modify the rules slightly. In order to make the hunt for Hermiotus a bit more exciting and random, I have taken all of my blips and divided them into 4 stacks. I am then going to allocate 1 of these stacks to each of the 4 quadrants of the board. I know the stack I have allocated to the first quadrant does not contain Hermiotus, but he could appear in any of the other 3 stacks. So I do not know exactly where he is, and I do not know how many aliens I will have to fight through to get to him. With all of that done, it is time to dock and deploy for the last time in the Space Crusade Renegade mission. This is it, death or glory. Strap in. Let's get things started with the Space Marine's first turn. We are going to activate one of our regular grunts with a Stormbolter. We have a movement of 4, so we will use 3 movement points to get into the corridor. We will open the door to our left, which is a free action, and then we will sidestep to our right, and we will open that door as well. As a Marine has finished their turn in an unexplored quadrant of the board, we now place our blips. Remember, I have divided the blips into 4 stacks. I do not know what these blips are. They have been randomly distributed. The only thing I do know is Hermiotus will not be appearing in this first quadrant. I am a big fan of putting blips directly behind doors, so that is what I have done. Next, we are going to advance the rest of the squad into the sector. Something like that will do just fine. With that done, the alien player takes their first turn, starting by drawing an alien event card. And the first event card we have drawn is Equipment Malfunction. Pick 1 equipment card owned by any 1 Marine player. That equipment card is then lost due to malfunction. That is an easy choice. We are picking the Medikit. This is something that could have saved the commander's life when he was low on hit points. Without this, it's going to be much easier for the alien player to kill him. Speaking of which, let's get stuck in. We are going to open the door directly in front of the Marines. And we reveal those first 2 blips. It's an Orc and an Android. So we are going to use our Android to attack the Terminator with the Stormbolter in close combat. We roll 2 red dice. And we have rolled 2, that's not bad. In retaliation, the Terminator rolls a red dice and a white dice. Remember, in hand-to-hand combat, the loser will take damage equal to the difference between their roll and their opponent's roll. And we have rolled 5. That is a massive hit, and that android is completely destroyed. Fortunately, in this mission, the alien player has access to a lot of units, so even though we have lost that android, we have many more, and hopefully the weight of numbers will eventually take a toll on the Marines. Let's attack in hand-to-hand combat with our Orc. He charges in and rolls 2 white dice. And he's rolled 2, again not a bad hit. But the Terminator rolls a 3, so not only does the Terminator defend the attack, they actually parry and kill the Orc. Right, let's activate this next blip. It moves into the corridor and reveals, and it is a Gretchen. That Gretchen is going to stay where it is and shoot. And we are going to target that Terminator with the Stormbolter, who has already given us quite a lot of trouble. Terminators have an armor class of 3, so when we are shooting them, we will need to roll at least 4 successes to kill them. And double zeros is not going to cut it. Let's see what this other blip is. It moves into view, and it's a Chaos Marine with a missile launcher. We will back off, and then we will drop a missile directly on that Terminator with the Stormbolter. Missile launchers roll 2 red dice. The total value of those dice will be applied to the target. The value of the highest dice will be applied to all models in surrounding squares. As red dice only go up to 3, that means it is impossible to kill a Terminator with the splash damage from a missile launcher. However, there is a good chance we can kill this Terminator that we are targeting. But we don't, we roll double 1. We needed at least 4. We open the door on the left. The first blip advances. As soon as it gets to there, it becomes visible to the Space Marine Commander. And it is another android. Androids have a movement of 4, we have used 1 movement point to get into view. That means we have more than enough movement points remaining to get into hand-to-hand combat. Again, we are going to target that Terminator with the Stormbolter. This Terminator's luck has to run out eventually. And 3 successes is a big roll for this android. That is bad for the Marines. But we roll 3 in retaliation. We just scrape a draw. Neither combatant is removed. That other blip on the left, we aren't going to bring that into combat. We're going to move it so it stays hidden. We can use it as an ambush later. Then we open the door on the right. We advance the first blip, and once it gets to there, it becomes visible. And it is an Orc. The only available target is the Terminator Commander. Not really any chance of doing a lot of damage on the Terminator Commander, but an Orc is gonna Orc, so let's do it anyway. We have to wipe out this squad eventually, so we'll give it a go. The Orc rolls 2 white dice. Rolling 2. The Commander has a power sword and rolls 2 red dice. And rolls 5. A massive hit, and this combat goes the way we kinda thought it would. Let's get our final blip on the right into the action. We reveal it. It's another Orc, and we may as well use it to fight the Commander. 2 white dice again. Just 1 success, that's not great. And the Terminator Commander rolls 4. So again, another Orc head gets added to the pile. Well, that wasn't great, but we are going to bring in some reinforcements now to try to help us out. We can bring in up to 6 reinforcement tokens in this top left quadrant of the map. I have access to every reinforcement blip in the game, so I have loads to pick from. However, Orc reinforcement tokens do not represent Orcs in this mission. Instead, each of those tokens represents a Genestealer hybrid, so I am going to bring in 6 hybrids to see what they can do. Just like that, they can activate from the next alien player's turn. At the start of the new Space Marine turn, we are going to activate our Commander. He is going to charge into hand-to-hand combat with that Chaos Marine with the missile launcher. He rolls 2 red dice. And he has rolled 4 successes. That is huge. The lowly Chaos Marine defends with 2 white dice. And rolls 00. That is an easy kill for our Commander. Next, the Terminator, who has survived an onslaught from the alien player, is going to move to attack that Gretchen in hand-to-hand combat. He gets in there and attacks in hand-to-hand combat with 1 red and 1 white dice. Rolling a 3, there is no way the Gretchen can defend that, it is killed. Next, we're going to use our Librarian to try to take down this android. Librarians are pretty awesome in hand-to-hand combat with their force axes. They roll 2 red and 2 white dice. And we have rolled 4 successes, not bad. The android defends, and rolls 3, not enough, not even enough for a draw. The android is destroyed. We will advance our other Marine with the Stormbolter, and then we are going to advance our Heavy Flamer. Now that heavy flamer can target the space directly in front of the unrevealed blip. We roll 2 red dice, and because this is a heavy flamer, not a regular flamer, all of the spaces surrounding the target space will be hit for the combined value of the 2 red dice. And we roll a 3, that should be enough to kill most things. Let's reveal the blip and see what we got. It was just a Gretchen, so the heavy flamer was absolute overkill. That finishes the Space Marine turn, and we have cleared the quadrant, and we haven't even taken any casualties. Things are going pretty well at the moment. But it's now the alien player's turn, so we draw an alien event card. Auto defense, you may shoot at any one Marine or Commander miniature on a corridor square. Roll 1 heavy weapons die. Now, as red dice only go up to 3 and Space Marine Terminators have an armor class of 3, it is impossible for any of my Marines to be killed by this card. Which means it's just time to activate our Genestealer hybrids. There they are, all the way up there. Each one has a move of 6. So we are going to scurry them all down and position them so that we can start hunting these Terminators. Look at them, horrid little things. They need exterminating. And of course, we can drop some more reinforcements as well. One of the cool things we can do is we can actually play 2 Orc reinforcement blips together to bring into play a Genestealer hybrid with a heavy weapon. And that's what we're going to do. And there is only one possible option. We are bringing in a conversion beamer because they roll 2 red dice and you have to roll under the target's armor class. That is very bad for Terminators. But that is me out of Orc blips, so I cannot bring in any more Genestealer hybrids in this mission. But while I'm bringing in the heavy weapons, I may as well bring in another Chaos Marine with a missile launcher. And why not, let's throw in a couple of androids too. Let's really put some pressure on our Marines. With all of those hybrids scurrying around to the west, we obviously want to go that way and engage them. If we go north, they will swing around behind us, they will capture us in a pincer maneuver, and that would be bad. So let's go and deal with the hybrids first. And that's that. We move each of the Terminators 4 spaces. We have nothing else we can do, nothing we can see, nothing we can shoot at, nothing we can interact with. We end our turn. We draw an alien event card. And we get the communications malfunction. Play on one of the Marine players. That player may not use any order cards on his next turn. Okay, so no order cards for us. As you can see, there is a terrible wave of death about to descend upon the Marines. Let's cause some devastation. We're going to activate our hybrids and we are going to try and kill a few Terminators. First we will activate the ones in the green room. We're going to move this hybrid 1 space and then he will open the door. He's then going to advance into the corridor. And he's going to open that door, and he now has eyes on the Marines, so he's going to move into the room, and he's going to take a pot shot at the closest Terminator. Hybrids are pretty good shots, they roll a red dice and a white dice. Here we go. It's a 1, not even close. Still, we have more hybrids. That one is going to move to there, he is also going to shoot at that leading Terminator with the Stormbolter. And that's a 2. Closer, but still not close enough. And the rest of the alien forces are just going to advance and take up better ambush positions. Look at that. That's an ugly mess the Marines are going to have to deal with. But it is time for the Marines to do what Marines do best. First things first, our Librarian is going to use an ability. He is going to use Burst of Speed. This will allow him to take 2 turns in succession. He moves 3 squares to there and opens the door. He then moves 1 more square. He will now immediately get to take a second action, but before he does that, we have to place a new load of blips. We randomly grab a stack. This stack may or may not contain Hermiatus. And we're going for something a little bit different here. We are going for a scattered approach for these blips. Now, back to our Librarian's turn. He gets a movement of 4, which puts him in the corridor where he can attack this hybrid with 2 red and 2 white dice. And he has rolled 4, a very good hit. The hybrid rolls 2 white dice in defense. And rolls 00 and therefore dies. Next we are going to activate our commander. He moves 4 spaces to there and he will attack the hybrid in hand-to-hand combat with 2 red dice. And we have rolled a 2. We do have digital weapons which allows us to re-roll one of these dice if we want to. It is a bit risky, but I think we will. And the risk pays off. We have rolled a 2, that gives us a total of 3. The hybrid rolls 2 white dice, and rolls double 0, so even without that reroll we had, we still would have defeated it. Next we're going to advance one of our Terminators with a Stormbolter. 3 movement points to there, and he opens the door. And what do we see? Gretchen and a Chaos Marine. Nothing too much to worry about there. We have 1 movement point left, we are going to use it to advance into the room. And we're going to shoot the hybrid, because the hybrid has an armor class of 0. We roll 1 red and 1 white dice. Scoring a 5, that is some serious overkill. Next I'm going to activate my Heavy Flamer. He can go there and he can drop a Flamer shot directly between the Chaos Marine and the Gretchen. A chance to kill 2 things at once. And we have rolled 3, that actually kills the Gretchen and the Chaos Marine. Excellent stuff. We have 1 Terminator left to activate, he will just advance 4 spaces. That finishes our activations, but it does not finish our turn. There is one more thing we need to do, something very important indeed. We need to chuck some blind grenades. You throw the blind grenades at the end of your turn, the alien player may not attack any of your miniatures on his next turn, discard this card after use. That is really important to do because you may or may not have noticed that my librarian is directly in line of sight of that conversion beamer. It almost certainly would have killed him. But now the alien player draws a card. It's a Gene Stealer, it's going to pop adjacent to one of my Marines, but as I just played blind grenades, it will not be able to attack this turn. So that was some good timing for the Marines. Well, as much as I would like to hide this Gene Stealer to use him later on, I do have to place him adjacent to a Marine, so we may as well place him here next to the Flamer. Like so. I guess he can just stick his tongue out and make spooky noises this turn. And as none of these aliens can attack this turn, I guess we will just reconsolidate our position somewhat. Our conversion beamer is going to back off a bit, our other hybrids are going to move to protect him, and I guess our Gretchen will reposition as well. And that finishes a very uneventful turn for the alien player. It's the start of a new Terminator turn. There are a couple of things we want to do before we start activating models. First of all, we want to use our bioscanner. This lets us peek at 3 blips on the map. And we will look at those, an Orc, a Gretchen and an Android. Normally only the player with the bioscanner would be able to see those and they would be returned face down to the board, but it's just me here, so let's leave them face up. The second thing I want to do is use a librarian power. I want to use teleport. This will allow my librarian to teleport to anywhere within this sector of the board. Why are we doing that? Because we want our librarian to take out the biggest threat on the board. Yes, that is not a great place for my librarian to be, surrounded by all those androids and hybrids, but I really want to remove this conversion beamer from the board. After teleporting, we do get to complete an action. We are going to punch this hybrid in the face. And we have rolled 3. Not bad, not great. The hybrid rolls 2 white dice. And rolls double 0. The risk has paid off. We have killed the conversion beamer. Next we're going to activate the Heavy Flamer. He is going to completely ignore that Gene Stealer for now because he wants to try and wipe out a few more hybrids. He moves 4 spaces to there and he is going to drop a Heavy Flamer shot directly in front of those 2 hybrids by the door. Rolling 2 red dice. He has rolled 3. Hybrids have an armor class of 0, so we kill both. But there is still much more work to be done. My commander is going to take on this Gene Stealer in hand-to-hand combat. 1 movement point to get into position, and we roll 2 red dice. We have rolled a 3 and a 0. We do get a reroll. We are obviously going to reroll that 0. And we've rolled a 2. That is 5 in total. The Gene Stealer rolls 2 red dice in defense. And rolls double 0. It is absolutely pulverized. Nicely done, Commander. Nicely done. 2 more Terminators left to activate. He moves to there, which puts him in line of sight to that hybrid. He attacks with a red and white dice. He rolls 1, but 1 is enough. Hybrids have an armor class of 0. Hermiotus has run out of lackeys. Last Terminator. He's going to move in here. He's going to shoot the Gretchen. Gretchen at armor class 0, 1 is enough. And we roll 3. Well, that went splendidly. It's time for the alien player to draw an event card. And honestly, things are going so badly for the alien player now. We have an android fault. You may not move or fire any of the androids or the dreadnought this turn due to a control malfunction. Absolute disaster. But let's do what we can. First we have a Gretchen with line of sight to a heavy flamer. He is going to shoot 2 white dice. 00 isn't going to do it, so he's just going to move out of the way. Next our missile launcher is going to move. He's moving down to there and he is going to shoot the librarian at point blank range. 2 red dice, 4 successes for a kill. 3! Wow, that is so close. But at the moment our luck is holding. I guess we may as well activate all of these blips down in the bottom left. Now technically, although we know that one of the blips is an android and we are not allowed to move any androids this turn, at the moment it's a blip, which means we can still activate it if we want to. However, as soon as that blip comes into line of sight and an android miniature is placed on the board, it will be subject to the rules of malfunction. Regardless, let's move this orc. It opens the door, and it is immediately in line of sight, so is revealed. And orcs are Gunner Orc. It's going to charge into hand-to-hand combat with the heavy flamer. 2 white dice. 2 successes, not bad. The heavy flamer retaliates with 1 red and 1 white. And rolls 00. The first casualty for the Marines. The heavy flamer is taken out by the orc. For all my fancy equipment, there was nothing I could do about that. Never mind, we will make sure he sells his life dearly. We are going to make sure none of these aliens survive. This Gretchen is next. It moves to there and is revealed. And I think it's going to move into the green room, and while it's there it's going to take a pot shot at that Marine. 3 successes! That is so close. It pings off the Terminator's helmet. 1 more success would have been a kill, and it would not be the first time that a Gretchen has taken down a Terminator in my Space Crusade games. This android blip is just going to move over to there, and we have 1 more blip. 3 movement points gets it to there, and it does come into line of sight of the librarian, and it is revealed. It's a Chaos Commander, only it's not a Chaos Commander. The Chaos Commander blip represents Hermiotus. We have found him in the second room. Now for Hermiotus you're supposed to use the Commander miniature, but where's the fun in that? I'm going to use this old Patriarch miniature. He's far too big for the spaces, I don't care. We found him early. This could be anticlimactic. Let's mix things up just a little bit. I am altering the deal. Pray I do not alter it any further. If the Marines take down Hermiotus, the Marines win. That's that. If Hermiotus escapes the board, then he wins. That's that. How is he going to escape? Let's say there is an escape capsule here, and he is going to use that to get away. Let's say that room up there is the escape capsule. If he can get through that door and into that room, he wins. The race is on. Hermiotus can move up to 8 spaces. He has moved 3. He has 5 spaces left to move. Hermiotus has a heavy bolter. He is going to use it to shoot the Terminator that is just in front of the door to the north. 2 red dice. 00, that's a big whiff. We start a new Marine turn and we want to throw everything we can at the wall. We are going to start by playing an order. We're going to use Close Assault, which allows my 2 Marines with bolters to fire their bolters and engage in hand-to-hand combat in the same turn. So first of all, we're going to use our Marine who has line of sight to that Gretchen. He is going to shoot that Gretchen. That's 1, that is enough to kill it. He is then going to move, getting into hand-to-hand combat with Hermiotus, where he will roll 1 red and 1 white dice. He's rolled 2. Hermiotus has many limbs, he rolls 2 red dice. And he has rolled 2, so that is a draw. Next, our other Marine with a Storm Bolter is going to shoot at Hermiotus. Hermiotus has an armor class of 3, we need 4 successes for the kill. 3! So near, and yet so far. But we can now Close Assault Hermiotus. We move 2 spaces, and we suffer not the Xeno to live. We are going to attack in hand-to-hand combat, and we are going to play Melter Bomb. This lets us roll an additional 2 red dice. That's a total of 3 red dice and 1 white dice. And we have rolled 5, that is a good hit, but Hermiotus rolls 2 red dice in combat. There is still a chance he could win. And he rolls 3, that is not enough. Hermiotus eats a melter bomb. I think we were supposed to be bringing him in alive, but I guess we will just bring him in a bucket. We have Hermiotus. Let's just finish the turn and mop things up here. Let's move our commander into hand-to-hand combat with the orc. He rolls 2 red dice. 1 success. But he does get a reroll from his digital weapons. And that makes it 2. The orc rolls nothing and is defeated. We still have our librarian to move. He is going to attack one of those androids in hand-to-hand combat. 2 red and 2 white dice. And he has rolled 3 successes. The android rolls no successes. Really, the alien player has gone to bits at this point. And that is the end of the Space Marine's turn. Technically, we could continue this mission. The alien player still has lots of reinforcement tokens they can use, and the Space Marines do need to get back to the docking claw. However, I think at this point, it's a bit of a wash. Despite my best efforts to add some extra drama at the end of this campaign, Hermiotus was found too early, he had nowhere to go, and the Marines still had too many powerful weapons to use against him. Even if the melter bomb hadn't done it, I still had the librarian who would have probably stuck a force axe in his back. And so, Hermiotus is captured in a bucket and taken back to the Inquisition. It is all over. Well, not perhaps the gripping finale I had hoped for, but the campaign is over and Hermiotus has been brought to justice. Unfortunately, there were a few minor errors along the way, most of which I have annotated in the video, and none of which would have changed the outcome in any significant way. It has been a hot minute since I last played Space Crusade, and even longer since I did a playthrough on video, so it's easy for little things to slip through. The most common mistake was related to line of sight. It's actually very simple in this game, but there is a rule that miniatures will block line of sight for shooting, but they don't block line of sight for revealing blips. Straightforward enough, but when I am recording and narrating, it's quite easy to miss the exact spot where a blip should be revealed. Still, hopefully it didn't ruin your enjoyment of this final battle. And fear not, this isn't the end of Space Crusade on the channel. While I can't see myself trying to run any more full campaigns, and it's definitely time to retire the Terminators, I will still be making Space Crusade videos. At some point I will paint up my set, and I would like to get the Eldar's feet on the ground for a rematch to atone for their previous failures. But that is all for another time. Tonight you can sleep soundly, knowing the Imperium is safe. For now. Because in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. As always, if you like the video, please consider pressing the like button. If you really like the video, please consider subscribing if you don't already do so, and hopefully I will see you all again very soon. Bye bye everyone, bye bye.